How you doing? I'm sorry about the little bit of a delay there. Rumble froze up on me, so I had to do some reworking and jump over specifically on X. I mean, not X, not on X today either, because for some reason, whatever, technical difficulties, but I'm able to go directly to YouTube, so I just decided to do that and jump instead. So let me give you a couple quick programming notes, because we're going to be probably pretty busy here over the next couple of minutes. So at 2:15 in 7 or 8 minutes, supposed to have Congressman Kevin Riley from California on with an interview. If you guys don't know him, he's on the Judiciary Committee. He's also on the Education Committee. So I've got some stuff that I want to play for him. Let me just go ahead and show you who he is. Here's his profile right here. Kevin Kiley represents California's 3rd District in the U.S. House, former state legislator, prosecutor, and teacher. Share your thoughts with me. You can guys follow him once we begin talking to him. Looks like he formally requested that Kash Patel open an investigation into California high-speed rail debacle, but we're going to have him on in about 15 minutes. Then, at that time, we're going to see Donald Trump, who's going to, he's supposed to sign executive orders at 2:30. As we have seen, those executive orders do not get shown live anymore. They get shown on videotape, at which point we will then, of course, show them to you. Then at 3 o'clock, President Trump is hosting a Bitcoin summit where we're going to be talking about the Bitcoin reserve and the different things that he's doing with that. So, all that said, welcome to the show. I wanted, before Kevin gets on, just wanted to spend a couple minutes because I wanted to let you know what was happening earlier. Why did President Trump come out? For what reason would he have come out and begun speaking to people about the jobs report? Well, there's a little bit of intrigue in the jobs report that you have to understand, because specifically what the communists who were in office before him did. Besides them forging the complete jobs report, there was some other data inside it. The media won't cover it. Don't worry about it. All they're going to say is the jobs report is down. But there's a big, big part that they're not telling you. I mean, absolutely monstrous part. All right, so follow along here while we're waiting for Congressman Kiley. In 2017 through 2020, I forget who was president then. Oh yeah, Donald Trump. The public sector, meaning, the government, had 9% of U.S. job growth. The private sector had 91%. Most of the jobs were provided by business. Then look what happened in 21 through 24. Biden and the communists were using your money to prop things up. They decided they were going to go, hey, let's just raise as many government employees as we possibly can, even if they're not working, even if they don't deserve to be on the job, because we'll use DEI, but it's going to be our way to, quote, redistribute wealth. That redistribution came in the form of cushy government jobs that you didn't even have to show up for. I'm going to give you $100,000 jobs and you don't even have to come in. Just stay home, do whatever you want to do. It's sort of like being on welfare, but you get more money. You get $100,000 to do nothing. Oh, and then we'll, shield you from being fired. We're going to put all these different legislations in place so you can never get fired. Oh, and then you don't even have to have any experience because you're a DEI employee. But doesn't need the experience anyway because no one's ever going to know you're employed. You're just going to take checks. Oh, it's a great scam. So between 2021 and 2024, Joe Biden, what's that look like? More than tripled the amount of government employees. It went from a 9% job growth when President Trump was in office to 31% while Biden was in office. Meanwhile, you can do the math, the private sector got squashed. They stopped with legislation and regulation and everything else. We're not going to hire people. We're not going to encourage business to be the catalyst here. We're going to make it all about government. Big government. Communist, Marxist, DEI, using all of these things to try and take more of your money. Now I want to show you something. President Trump's been in office 6 weeks, right? 6 weeks. Wait till you see this. Boom. Public sector job growth, 7%. No more government cush jobs. We're actually going to promote business. He completely reversed it in 6 months. 93% are private sector jobs. This kind of information, they are not going to show you. They are just going to tell you, oh, looks like they had a bad jobs report. Yeah, it's down. We expected more, but we only got this many. So the Trump stuff may not be working. Oh, the stock market can feel it, because they're not telling the truth. You look at it from the perspective of what the design is. When you can see for yourself what exactly is happening, it's kind of easy to understand why the numbers are what they are, besides the fact of people lying to you. They want to cause fear. They want to cause havoc and chaos and let people think things are just crumbling. They're not. They are absolutely not. They just switched to where the private sector is now fueling jobs and the government is getting the hell out the way. We don't need bloated government with $100,000 a year employees who don't even have to show up at work, who don't do anything, do nothing at all, collect money from you, who aren't even, if they even showed up for the jobs, qualified for the jobs, because they're all DEI employees. It was, when you sit back and think about it, you have to realize at this point, they had a unbelievable, ingenious plan. The whole reason for this DEI wasn't to promote equity, wasn't to promote inclusion with the races or anything else. It was about the grift. It was about turning things topsy-turvy, helter-skelter. Let's take more money from the taxpayers. Let's give it to people. Literally, give it to people. There could have been a bigger example of redistribution. Just give them money. Stay home. Don't worry about it. You don't have to come to the office. And that's why you're seeing so many of these people run into the courts. Please tell him he can't fire me. Please tell him, because I got the best job in the world. And Biden put all this stuff in place so that, I could never be fired. They wanted the grift and they wanted the system. And the system that they were putting in place wasn't just to, drive people crazy and take your money. The system that they were putting in place was also to destroy America. It was unsustainable. It couldn't work. Couldn't possibly work. So I'm going to have Kevin Riley come on. And when I have Congressman Riley come on, one of the things I want to talk about as he sits on the Education Committee, because maybe the executive order that we see that he signs today might be the education order about dismantling the Department of Education. As I lead into Congressman Kiley, I want you to listen to what Linda McMahon, the recently approved and confirmed Secretary of Education, said.
Well, if you think about the fact that the Department of Education was actually set up in 1980, and we've spent $1 trillion since then to educate students in our country, and we've seen scores continually decline. We're clearly not doing something right. And so what President Trump wants to do is to take the bureaucracy out of education. He believes, as do I, that the best education is closest to the student, that parents, that teachers, that school administrators in the local areas know what's best. There is no one-size-fits-all for education. And what I hope the Education Department will be able to do as we are paring down and preparing to turn over all control to the states is that we can provide them with tools to help them. We can provide them with research. We can give them information on best practices that is working in many states already to get those scores up for reading and math. I mean, When you think about the fact that only 70% only 30%, I'll reverse it, only 30% of our students can read with proficiency. That's just absolutely unacceptable. Teachers know best what's going on in their classrooms and how to teach those students. Let's let the teachers be innovative. Let them teach. I think you're going to see scores come up.
Do you know for sure?
Well, in addition to letting the teachers teach, make sure we have the right teachers teaching. That's the other thing. They have done the same thing they did with government with the education system. They put in these teachers, and you've seen them on TikTok, and you've seen all the crap that they've been saying, and how they've been indoctrinating kids, and they have this big mafia-esque organization, the Department of Education, the teachers union, all these things to keep these people in place. You can never fire them. They're always going to be there. They just, nothing ever changes except for the ability of students to learn. That has changed drastically. The amount of money we funneled, way up. The amount of money that gets into the teachers union, way up. The kids' ability to learn and be sufficient in schools, way down. And they're just passing these kids, just moving them through the system without caring whatsoever. So, yeah, because once you get through the system and you can't read or you can't write and you can't get a job, well, don't worry, because DEI, we understand, you're the poor peoples, you're the black peoples, we can get you a job. Here's a job that you never even have to show up for. You're going to get $100 grand for. And guess what? If you're really, really good, you can get a job like, Congressman Jasmine Crockett. You can be a hood rat. And you make a whole bunch of money. We'll show you then how to leverage that so you can make millions. There's a story coming out about Jasmine Crockett. It's going to curl your hair. How she's worth $9-10 million and what she's been doing working with NGOs and all this other kind of stuff. It's insidious how these people have hatched these plans to do nothing but steal from you. God help us. And the most important job that I think is teaching our kids. And from the time these kids are in kindergarten until the time they're in college, all they are being is acting like lab rats, where they're forcing all this crazy ideology on them. And God help the people whose parents can't be home or be there for them, and they're letting the school system teach them. There are so many things about the school system that drive me crazy, because I don't understand how the school system essentially became daycare. From the time the kid leaves your house, you can get a free breakfast, you can get this, the other thing. I remember going to school, Mom woke us up early, have your breakfast, and go to school. And make sure you're dressed well. And then, of course, going to Catholic school, we had to wear uniforms. And the boys had to wear sport coats. You had to actually dress well to go to school. It was someplace that you knew you were going, that you had something to do. You had some responsibility. Even at 5, 6, and 7 years old, you knew you had a responsibility. You weren't just there to be fed and listen to rap music and look on your phone. You actually had to do something. That's where you're taught your instincts in terms of moving forward is achieve, continue to achieve. But they don't do that anymore. Thank God, way back then, my parents said, hey, we're going to put these kids in private school. And I'm black, so I don't even know how they could tell me that I'm privileged.
He's definitely going to abolish the Department of Education.
He's been very clear about that. He couldn't be any more clear when he said he wants me to put myself out of a job.
How did you feel about that?
But, I think there is definitely a role for education to make sure that as we move education back to the states, that we are providing the tools for the governors, for the teachers, that we can provide them with research to show best practices. Because the president's goal really is to see our scores go up. When 70%, of our students cannot read with proficiency, that's just incredibly difficult to swallow, and he's just not going to accept it.
Especially when the schools are focused so much on other things like DEI and telling our children they can transition. I want my child to learn about math and science and reading, because if you look at the stats, we're well below in all of these. And President Trump says we spend more money than any other country, yet we're one of the lowest.
Absolutely. And that's intolerable. So we really have to make sure that our teachers are focused on teaching basics. Let's get back to this.
Let me ask you a question, those of you who are parents. How is it tolerable? And how is it partisan? If Johnny can't read, if Jill can't read, how is it partisan to say there's something wrong here? The system is broken. You ever notice that most of the systems that are in place, once the Democrats get their hands on them, they break them? Immigration, broken. Completely broken. Government management, broken. Education, broken. And then they spend a gazillion dollars trying to fix, or telling you they're trying to fix, what's broken. But they never fix it. It's just perpetual money spending. Your money. If you privatize education, this stuff would get fixed pretty quick. It would drive the Democrats crazy and drive some Democrat voters nuts because they're so entrenched in government. They don't even understand the idea of operating like a business. When Kevin gets on, I hope he's not having a hard time connecting. I want to ask him, how did you guys out there spend a gazillion dollars on a train that went nowhere? It went nowhere. And it's okay. People aren't in the street screaming about it. Billions of dollars gone on a train system that never got built. Everything they touch, as Trump has said, turns to you know what. It's incredible.
Science of reading. Let's teach it phonetically. We've seen great results in Louisiana, Mississippi, other states that have put programs in place. Their scores come up. They're
Iowa,
rising.
Indiana,
yes.
the president was talking about.
Yeah.
So if you give this money back to the states, how will you be able to determine what they're teaching? Curriculum.
The Department of Education does not set curriculum.
What does the department do?
The department actually does a lot of research. We see a lot of programs. We make sure that funds are getting into the states that are by statute, but those can, flow in different ways back to the states.
Do we need this department?
No, we don't.
What about?
And I challenge Democrats to say otherwise. Here's a department, another one in our government that we don't need. Billions, trillions, I don't even know how much money over the course of years and years and years has been spent on the education system to little or no avail. I mean, we get nothing from it. It's crazy. And that's why people are moving into homeschooling and things of that nature. So I'm doing some little adjusting here because I'm getting ready for Congressman to come on. And it looks like he may be having some issue. I don't see him in here yet. Let me see if he's been able to log in. No, he hasn't been logged in. So we're going to continue, and when hopefully if he logs in, we can get to him if President, oh, wait a minute, we do have something going on here. We do have, there he comes. Here comes Congressman Kiley. We're live, so I'm going to have to bring you on right now. Hopefully everything is fine.
Good to go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, so everybody, this is Congressman Kevin Kiley from California. How are you doing today? A busy day, obviously.
Yeah, doing great. A lot going on. You bet.
So I understand that you're on the Judiciary Committee and the Education Committee. Let's talk some education first. Whether or not he does it today, it does seem that it's imminent that President Trump is going to do away with the Department of Education. What's your idea on him doing away with the Department of Education, and what's going to happen when that happens in terms of what's the process of giving it back to the states?
Yeah, so I mean, that is the ultimate goal, is that we want to return both the funding and the decision-making authority to the states, and actually even more than the states, to local communities. Like in California, which is where I'm from, if you just hand the money over to the state, that's not going to be a good thing because it's just going to disappear into thin air. I mean, if we let Gavin Newsom get his hands on it, then, good luck any student seeing any benefit from that. So one of the things that I've talked with the president about is for states like California or New York, we're not going to send the money back to the state, but rather to regions, to communities. That way it can get more directly into the classroom to assist teachers and students and actually, improving the quality of American education. So I think it's an incredibly exciting opportunity. I know that it's going to be driven towards, improving learning outcomes and giving parents more options, promoting school choice, really shifting the entire paradigm of education.
Does he need approval from Congress, or is this something he can do by executive order?
Well, I think it's still unclear exactly what the order is going to say. So I hesitate to opine on that before I know exactly what his plans are. But I think it's pretty likely, given the sort of the scale of what he wants to do, that there will need to be some partnership with Congress and the administration.
Well, in that regards, if it has to come down to the House and the Senate, you better steel yourself for a fight because they're not going to want to give up that money. How are you going to shepherd this through? I mean, obviously we haven't seen the order and when it's going to come down, but let's assume it comes down today. How would you guys shepherd it, given how they seem to want to just fight everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I think that, number one, we're going to win the battle for public opinion. When you look at, I put this up actually in a hearing the other day. I'm the chair of the education subcommittee that covers K through 12 education. And, maybe you've seen a similar graph where it shows the amount of spending on education that we've had in this country by year, and it goes up and up and up. And then the actual performance of our students on test scores, which go down and down and down and down. So there's actually been an inverse relationship between the money spent and the amount that students are learning. And so we need to make the case that this is broken. We have a broken education system in this country. We need there to be fundamental reform that's oriented towards local control, towards school choice, towards putting power back in the hands of parents, towards promoting excellence rather than ideology. And so I think that's going to be a big part of it, is winning that battle for public opinion. And, but I think at the end of the day, restoring authority to local communities, that's something that we could get people on both sides of the aisle behind. I mean, they'll probably get calls from their, their local schools, their superintendents, who say, we actually like that idea. We can have more control over these dollars at the local level.
How does the individual school system improve by having it come away from the government into the local schools?
Well, two major ways. Number one is that you can actually have that money go into the classroom to assist students with learning. The way it's happening right now is it just disappears in the vast bureaucracy, right? You're funding administrators in Washington, D.C. And then what the local school districts and states are having to do is just a lot of compliance, having to jump through all of these hoops to meet the requirements that are set out by the bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. And so students just get totally lost in the shuffle. So we could have a more direct line between the dollars and the students. That's a very positive thing. But also, it's going to enable a much greater degree of accountability. That's the nice thing about when decisions are made at the local level, is that they can be made with input from parents, from stakeholders, from the community itself. And when they are not being spent wisely, then there can be accountability at the local level as well. So I think that, and then not to mention the fact that under Biden in particular, you had all of these DEI programs that the money was funding, right? You had these crazy ideologies that were working their way from the Washington bureaucracy towards school sites. So we'll be getting rid of all that as well.
Now, when we're talking money, are we also talking about changing the size of the budget that the Department of Education has? And how are you going to allocate money? Is it like on a per capita basis, per student basis, or are you just going to leave it totally up to the state? And if you just leave it to the state and county, like you said, you don't want to leave it to governors because you got Gavin Newsom, how are you going to allocate the funds? And how does it relate to what the funding is right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I am interested to seeing where the president's vision on that is. I think there's a lot of ways that we could structure that would be very helpful towards actually promoting good education outcomes. Like, for example, maybe we should reward areas that actually promote school choice and to give parents options. Do you want to send your child to a neighborhood school, a traditional public school, a charter school, a magnet school? Do you have education savings accounts that enable them to potentially go to private schools or homeschool or get tutoring? I think that we could envision our role as rewarding those sort of pro-student, pro-parent policies, and that could certainly be part of the funding formula.
It seems like every 2 and 4 years they have the same arguments all the time. Even way back when I was in high school, when we actually went to high school and you had to do your studies, it's always, we need more money for education. We need more money for education. And I look at, like my high school, I went to a private school, but even the public school that was right down the street from me, was well kept. It had top-notch facilities, and they actually reduced the amount of money that they would take from the various sources because they were doing so well. Why is it that these schools always need more money?
Great question. And the reality of the situation, the president mentioned this in the Oval Office yesterday, is that, we're doing about the worst when we're spending the most. So there is so much that we could do to actually help students and reduce the deficit if we actually just reform our education to be focused on actually helping students and on performance. But, in California, which has maybe one of the worst education systems in the country, especially when you look at places like Los Angeles, our state has increased the education budget by tens of billions of dollars over the last decade, and there's been no measurable increase in student performance. And so clearly the solution is not just to pile more money into the system that is broken. The solution is to actually reform the system so that it's geared towards student learning. And I think that's the opportunity that we have right now. Frankly, the politics of education have become very corrupted. It's hardly ever actually about students. It's about a lot of other interest groups that have a lot of influence and get their hands and jockey for control of the funding. And this is an opportunity to change all that. And to your point, where you have actual case studies, I mean, I've seen examples of charter schools, for example, that actually share literally the same facility, the same building with a traditional public school, and have serve the same student population, and yet get hugely better outcomes, even though all of the other variables are the same. It's like you practically have like a Berlin Wall type situation, right? Where it's like a completely same geography, but just on one side of the wall, things are so much better because they actually value freedom and choice. They have accountability. They promote excellence. They hold students accountable. They have high expectations. All of these things that far too many schools in this country fail to do.
Well, if you even having the high expectations, I remember going way back again when I was in school, the teachers got performance bonuses and the school got performance bonuses, where if you're doing something just like in any other private sector job, you get rewarded based upon how you perform. Is there any way that you think you could tie in any sort of budgetary bonus program so that teachers that have kids that are performing at a better level get a certain amount of bonus, and the school system that has kids performing at a higher level? Because it just seems to me we need to have something that incentivizes good teachers to overperform and something to measure the bad teachers to eliminate them. How can we do that?
That's a fantastic point, and we don't do that enough. We need to support teachers. We need to support the good teachers, and there are a lot of great teachers out there. My mom was a teacher. I was a teacher at one point, who go into teaching for the right reasons, but then they kind of enter into a system that doesn't really reward those who put in the hard work and who have a talent for it to enable them to have more of an impact. So we absolutely need to also look at the way that tenure laws operate. Like in California, they have a 2-year probationary period, which actually means, like 14 months or maybe a year and a half is when the decision really gets made. And actually what they end up doing a lot of the schools, because after that 2 years, you can't fire the teacher basically at all. There's no way to do it unless they're convicted of a felony or something. So what ends up happening is the schools at the 16-month, 18-month mark just have to kind of let anyone who's sort of on the bubble go, because you don't want them then to become unfireable after 2 years. And so you actually lose a lot of good young teachers who could have become really good teachers over the long term if they had the right professional development. The system actually incentivizes letting them go. And then when you have to do layoffs in years when there's a budget crunch, we have this last in, first out system. So those who have been there the longest keep their jobs. The newer, younger teachers end up losing their jobs. So we have a system as well that simply does not respect teachers and does not, encourage good people to go into the profession and to stay in it.
So now I want to tie in your other committee, the Judiciary Committee, because what's going to happen is whenever he does this executive order, they'll be in a Carl Lewis sprint to the courthouse first. So one of the questions I wonder is, what can you guys do in the Judiciary Committee to stop this rogue judge ruling where district court judges in some county can decide they're going to do a national injunction and try to stop everything that the President of the United States is doing?
Well, I'm glad you asked. We actually just passed a bill on this 2 days ago,
wow.
Which is called the No Rogue Rulings Act, or something along those lines. So the basic idea is exactly what you just said, which is that you should not have the ability of a single district court to issue a nationwide injunction. And so that's bill just passed the Judiciary Committee, and I think is likely to be on the House floor very soon. Good,
great. Trump and Howard Lutnick are doing all this stuff with tariff, and they're talking about abolishing income taxes. And where I live down here, most of the funding for the school system comes from the state and through the state lottery, and we make a ton of money in the lottery. What happens if the IRS and taxes are eventually abolished? Where's the funding come from? Is it going to come from tariffs for education?
I don't know. We'll have to cross that bridge. I think that's probably a ways down the line. But I will say, actually, federal education funding is not that big of a slice of the pie. It's 12%, something like that. Obviously, it depends by states, but I think nationwide, that's about what it is. So it's not a huge chunk of it. And frankly, I think, as you said, as we were talking about before, maybe we'd be better off if more of that funding were returned to states and localities. But it is actually still significant, and is enough that states and schools feel like they have to jump through all of these hoops and turn into basically compliance machines in order to get access to that money. And again, students get lost from the mix.
Absolutely. So last question I have, and this is kind of a big one, and I don't know if you could touch it with a 10-foot pole, but we'll see. What can you guys do about this egregious teachers union that it seems to be so political? I mean, I don't have a problem with people being in the union. That's not the problem. But it almost seems like there's a money laundering scheme where the Department of Education gives the teachers union money, and the teachers union just funnels it right back to a someone who's running. Can there be any law put in place to stop that? Because it just look. I mean, you can actually look at it and you're like, okay, so Randy Weingarten is out here campaigning for Kamala, and I'm like, well, how can you be a part of something when you're getting funded by the same thing that you're a part of?
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem right there. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, in California, the statewide teachers union, the California Teachers Association, they are by far the biggest spending interest group on political campaigns and elections. And the way they get their money is that every single public school teacher, at least in the traditional public school system, just sort of is defaulted into the union, and then a cut of their paycheck goes towards funding the statewide association's political activities. They've basically taken over all of the local independent unions as well. They've all become part of the large statewide association. And the Supreme Court did say that you have a right to opt out of that. But states like California have made it exceedingly difficult to do so. They have tight deadlines. They make it very complicated how you get your paperwork in and that sort of thing. So it hasn't really put a huge dent into their war chest. But I do think that there's sort of been a countervailing movement of parents. There's one group even called the Parents Union. But the idea is that parents collectively can exert a lot more force through their voice, through their activism, through banding together. And I think we've actually seen a lot of victories for parents. But like the thing that really put this in stark relief was COVID, where in California, you had, because of the power of this particular interest group over Governor Gavin Newsom, he shut down schools longer than any state in the entire country. And our students are paying a huge, huge price for that.
Yeah, that was crazy. I said last question, but I actually have another question for you. And this is kind of big because it was something you posted a couple days ago. Let me make sure you can see this. Yeah, you can see it. All right.
Yes, there you go.
Talk to me about this, because a lot of people who aren't in California don't understand. So if you could explain to us what the California high-speed rail was supposed to be, and then what's going on with it like right now.
Yeah. So what's going on with it right now is it does not exist, not even close. No track has been laid, nothing, zero passengers. But it started in 2008. It was actually a voter initiative. They said it's going to cost $33 billion and it'll be done by 2020. It'll link San Francisco to Los Angeles. Well, we're now in 2025. The cost has ballooned to over $130 billion. They have said that even the first segment being planned, which is from two not very populated cities, Bakersfield to Merced, is now going to miss its 2033 deadline. The New York Times, of all outlets, did an investigation finding that at the current pace, it's not even going to be finished in this century. Like, we're going to be past the year 2100 before this thing is done. And by the way, the technology is really outdated already. Like, China is right now building a high-speed train that will go 3 times as fast as ours will, and it's just been so rife with with delays and cost overruns and no stations after $17 billion spent now, that we already have an investigation from Duffy with the Department of Transportation we announced in LA a couple weeks ago. But I think that the FBI needs to take a look at this as well to figure out exactly where all of our taxpayers' money went. And it's not just about Californians, because there's been several billions, over $7 billion in federal taxpayer dollars that Joe Biden awarded this, that have disappeared into thin air seemingly as well.
It's amazing. The media doesn't even talk about it. I mean, we're talking a major media markets like Los Angeles and San Francisco and San Diego, and nobody even talks about it. I'm sure many people here on the East. See, I'm old enough to remember I don't know if you remember the Big Dig in Boston, and how that was just horrible, putting that tunnel in, and how much they had overruns for that, and people did lose their jobs. Gavin Newsom, I don't know how he survives when billions of dollars have just been completely put into the ether. And I'm glad you mentioned Kash Patel. So what you're kind of inferring is that you believe, or let me not put words in anybody's mouth, do you believe there's something criminal attached to this?
Well, I think that there are questions that need to be answered. And I think that the FBI and its public integrity unit is very well positioned to look into those questions. And so I think, I'm confident that this is something that they'll act on quickly. And hopefully we'll finally get a measure of justice for our taxpayers.
I said last question, but I forgot. You're from California, so I got to ask you that. What in the hell is going on with the Los Angeles fire rebuilding? President Trump goes out there. He meets with Karen Bass directly. Governor Newsom doesn't show up to that meeting. He basically calls to her face and says, "You're lying." And now it turns out she was lying. Is there anything you can do from a federal perspective to help those people get their houses rebuilt in timely fashion?
Yeah, absolutely. I was at that roundtable with President Trump, and it was actually a pretty extraordinary event. I think that he cut through a lot of the nonsense and just spoke the truth. But the answer to your question is yes. Number one, we are going to get assistance for removing debris and for the rebuilding process. But number two, we're also looking to induce the sort of changes that California needs to make in order to allow for folks to actually rebuild their homes and to manage our forests properly, so these sort of things don't keep happening in our state. As one example of that, we have this massive agency called the California Coastal Commission that is completely out of control and that throws sand in the gears of everything. I spoke with President Trump about this at the roundtable. So I've introduced a bill to completely strip them of their powers under federal law. And there's going to be a lot of other changes like that need to be made.
how'd they get power? Was that done by the state, or were they commissioned by federal government?
Yeah, it's both. They're created by the state, but the federal government has endowed these coastal commissions across the country with powers under federal law. So we're looking to take those powers away.
Oh, great. Well, Congressman Kiley, thank you very much for your time. I understand, well, I don't understand because I'm not in Congress, but I can't even imagine the daily battles that you've had to encounter since like January 19th and 20th, which is probably, how long have you been in office?
Just over 2 years. So, but hey, I mean, it's an exciting time. We've got.
I can't even imagine. I was talking to Ashley, my daughter, who contacted your office, and I'm like, I wonder what the workload was like pre-November 5th and what it's become now. I mean, it must just be nuts. So I greatly appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and anytime you want to come in. Where is California's 3rd district? What area is that?
Well, it's actually the biggest district in California. It runs along the Nevada border, about 450 miles north to south. It is about the size of the entire state of West Virginia, and a couple of the landmarks folks have probably heard of are Lake Tahoe, Death Valley, Mammoth. So it's a beautiful district, and it's an honor to have the chance to represent it.
Well, it's beautiful out there. My wife used to live in Vegas, and she's talked about it many times. So thank you very much for everything you're doing. Keep fighting. I know it's going to be a continued fight, and we'd love to have you back to talk about it more.
I'll look forward to it. Thanks so much.
Thank you. All right, everybody. That was Congressman Kevin Kiley. Let me go ahead and pull up his Twitter profile so you guys can see it again. I know he's in California, but that shouldn't matter because he's a federal. He's not a local politician. He is a congressman. He represents California's 3rd district, but he's in the House. And we need all the fighters we can get. I mean, we just need to keep fighting and keep fighting. Speaking of keep fighting, Benny just reported something. Thanks, SV. SV just again, let me just repeat. We're in a civil war. We're in a civil war because no muskets, no cannon fire, none of that stuff. But when you see stuff like this, you have to realize where we are at this point. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem announces 2 alleged leakers who have been caught exposing ICE raids and are facing prosecution. They face up to 10 years in federal prison. We will find all these leakers. They will face prison. We will get justice. So what we're seeing almost daily at this point is a pushback from people in these agencies. I don't know how else you can describe treason. You got the FBI director who they had to boot. And now we got these people. And then yesterday we had military arrests because people inside the government are doing everything they possibly can to hurt President Trump and hurt America. It's not just about Trump. It's about America. You can't forget that. You can't take one without the other. This is what they're doing. So President Trump is due. I don't know how he's going to work this, but at 2:30 he was supposed to sign the orders, and then at 3 o'clock he's going to chair the digital summit. So we're going to take that as soon as it's available so we can show it to you. I don't know when they're going to show the information about the orders that they sign, but as soon as they do, we'll definitely jump to it. So I want to talk to you for a second about what you're doing right now to prepare in case things turn squirrely. You can see as every single day news comes out economically. Today, the jobs report, and they're trying to twist it and cause panic. The more panic they cause, the more the volatility in the stock market. Let me see where the Dow Jones is today, because they are trying to manipulate it as best as they can. As of right now, we're up 171, which may not mean a lot to you, because unless you're in the stock market, you probably don't understand it. Remember when I told you about buying the dip? Let me just show you something. This is really interesting about buying the dip. I'm gonna go with the big screen here, and you can see where the dip was right here. That was wait a minute. Let me do the 5-day. All right. See here, bam. That's where the dip was on March March 7th earlier, it went down and went crashed. And every time you see it go down like this, people jump back in and they take a profit because they can see what stocks are tanking, and then they can just jump in and do whatever they need to do. You know how you stop that? You know how you hedge that and make sure you're safe? Well, you do that by having places like real estate and other things to make sure you're okay and you can withstand those ups and downs, those daily ups and downs of manipulation. One of those things that keeps you flat and even helps you grow money in the long term is silver and gold. And my friends at Lear Capital, yeah, I definitely stand behind them. And where did I do with my gold here? My gold, where's my gold? I don't know if I put it away or not. I'd have to find it. It's always on my desk here, those two pieces. But I don't have it near me because I was cleaning up, getting ready for Ashley and the kids. Believe it or not, you know what's back there? Back there, those shelves open up. And no, it's not Fort Knox. There's not a safe back there, so don't break into the house. You open that up, and there's a huge king-size bed that comes down, a big Murphy bed. Pretty cool. But anyway, I was cleaning up because I was getting ready for the kids to come down here. I don't know where I put my gold and my silver. But in any event, Lear Capital can hook you up. As you know, President Trump has assembled the Avengers to make America great again. And of course, we're all excited and ready to see them get to work. But with everything we're seeing right now, don't take your eye off the ball. Things could get much worse before they get better. With the possibility of World War III still looming, and with the Democrats doing everything they can to impede Trump, you still need to keep your guard up and your money protected. Oh, and our national debt is still massively increasing. Don't get me wrong, I have high hopes for Trump's America, but I also have a family to look out for. You see, Trump and the Avengers have quite the uphill battle ahead. That's why I'm making sure I'm protected, and I'm recommending that you do the same. One way to be protected is by diversifying your portfolio. That's why on this channel I've been happy to partner with Lear Capital. As you know, I've been involved in real estate for quite some time. And although I dabbled in gold and silver, Kevin and his staff at Lear have helped to educate me even further, especially in regards to silver. Give Lear a call today and they'll show you how easy it is to move some of your savings or your retirement account into gold and silver. Gold and silver have been proven to hold value and protect wealth for the long term. Call Lear today at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com to get your free gold and silver wealth protection guides. There's no obligation, just free information. Many of you have seen my interviews with Lear founder Kevin Demerit, and I can tell you this company is solid and likes to educate their customers. Just so you know, Lear has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and over $3 billion in trusted transactions, and is the only company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase. You don't pay unless you're 100% satisfied. So call 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. And when you call, don't forget to ask how you can get up to $15,000 in bonus gold or silver with a qualifying purchase. So if you'd like to take advantage of this opportunity, please call my friends at Lear Capital at 800-601-5430 and tell them Barry sent you. So one of the things I'm going to do differently than what we've been doing is because sometimes I pause and I do things, and then at the very end I read the super chats, and sometimes the people who have put super chats forward, who have done it, they're not here at the end 2.5 and 3 hours later. So Ashley talked to me and she said, what do you think? How about we start talking to people and thanking them for the super chats on a more timely basis. So when there's a break, like something like right now, why don't I just take some super chats? And I thought that's a fantastic idea. So what I'm going to do right now is talk to a few people who have done some super chats. Doesn't matter if it's 1 or 10, and that way at the end, I'm not going back 3 hours. Like right now, there's 3 of them here, and it's going to be pretty easy for me to talk. But at least now, these people don't have to wait 4 or 5 hours, not that long, but you know what I mean. In any event, we'll get them right here. So let's go ahead and thank, we are Maximus 12 or 23 here for justice. Believe it or not, the world teacher, also known as Maitreya Buddha Mandi Krishna, will soon be seen by all but not. Okay. Debbie Shaljan, she says, thanks for all you guys do. We love you. And Brian Newland, thanks for your email. I had to give you background for my question. Sorry for the novel emails. Nope, no apologies needed. None whatsoever. All right, so let's go ahead and begin looking at some comments here. Oh, some big news came in while we were waiting for the video and for Trump to begin talking. President Trump, this came out. These people are taking the stairs or the window on a frequent basis now. Breaking: Fed Chair Michael Barr resigns ahead of expected audit. Federal Reserve Vice Chairman for Supervision Michael Barr has stepped down, just as Department of Treasury Office of Inspector General DOGE prepares to launch an audit. His resignation raises questions about upcoming regulatory scrutiny. Duh! Wait a minute. So the guy who has been part of the Federal Reserve finds out that DOGE is coming. And he, I'm done. It's not going to help you. Might as well just stay. At this point, you've kind of let the blinkers go off that you might have done some hanky-panky. So be careful with that. I mean, just wow. All right, so I'm going to begin my segment, and let me just make sure there's nothing else I want to cover, because I'm going to get into something about business, and I hope that President Trump doesn't come on too early. I figure I might be able to get through the opening segment here. Let's figure this out. All right, so let's run with this. Check this out.
We wanted to ask you about Elon Musk's message in there. What did he talk to you guys about? What was sort of the main message?
Well, we talked about specifics of areas that I don't want to discuss the specific parts of it, but it's very encouraging of the things that he's disclosing and where he's headed with this, because they haven't even really cracked the nut. You've got education in the Pentagon that are out there, and you know what time this thing started?
Is there any sort of conversation or pushback, from folks who are questions
they're going to push back because you've got congressmen on both sides of the aisle. Mm-hmm. If they follow that paper trail, it's going to come back to them. You got their wife.
I hope you heard what he said. It's Representative Burchett, who we've had here on the show. Ashley, please get him again, because what he just said, my ears just went boom. He just said, congressmen, senators on both sides of the aisle are going to get caught up into this DOGE investigation. The dirtiness, as we know and we suspected, goes cross-party. That is huge. Now we've had an actual, not just me, not just people on the news. We actually had a sitting congressman say, yeah, there's some dirt up in here. I mean, that, wow. Absolutely, wow. Let's continue.
Your girlfriend that works for some agency, quasi-agency, or some business, I'll probably get a primary for saying that. I mean, that's the truth, and we all know it. And this town's crooked as a dog's leg. Somebody's going to straighten it out. Looks like it's going to be Elon Musk.
Did he give you guys his phone number like he did for the senators?
You'll have to ask Marjorie.
And what about using the rescission?
I tell you, dude, you're going to say, will you call Elon? And I'm saying, I'm
not going to ask you to call Elon. Did he give you the number?
Oh, yeah, no, did he?
No, I'm going on to your question.
What do you think about using the rescission package process, rescissions, to codify some of this?
I think that's a avenue to take. I would like to do every dadgum one on there, but we don't have the guts to do it. So
you think it'll really happen?
I think it will eventually. I think America's going to demand it after that show the Democrats put on last night.
Mm-hmm. And so how do you get in touch with Mr. Musk if lawmakers do have any concerns about
I'm on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Send up the bat signal.
Did he say anything to some like the concerns needs to slow down?
He looks troubled. he looks like he's seen something that, or knows something that is quite terrible. And if you listen to my interview with Congressman Burchett, and if you've seen some of the stuff he has said on television, he's very talkative. He's very deliberate in what he says, and he is very, very credible. And just looking at his demeanor here, it appears that things have come to light that are not setting well with him.
No, I mean, I encouraged him to go as fast as possible because we're going to lose our guts. 100, 150 days, this bunch is going to... Oh, man, that's cutting into my...
Anything about the recent VA cuts come up?
No, other than we primarily discussed, we broke down some of the aspects of the people that are 100, 150 years old, and people overseas that are out of the country that are drawing a check, and how much that is, and just how substantial that is.
But the 80,000 VA cuts that were made known today.
Well, they're going to, but I believe that they'll equal those out with the waste, abuse, and fraud. And when people start going back to work, I think that's going to take care of some of that. And the ones that choose not to, that'll come off that side of the ledger.
Thank you. And he's talking about codifying.
You're doing something different.
I've curled my hair. Thank you.
I got girls. I noticed that stuff. And I found out who Lily Pulitzer was pretty quick.
Was there any?
I find it odd. These people want to be considered professional. They want us to think that they are a different breed. We're journalists. And, the giggling and stuff that's going on there and talking about kid stuff, and I'm thinking, did you hear what this man said? I am willing to lose my job over this. He's telling you about a massive crime that has taken place in the United States government over a period of time with gazillions of dollars, and you're giggling. As soon as he said that, every question that you had should have just erased it, crossed it out. Now he's willing to talk to you. You have a congressperson who just said, yeah, there's some crooked people up here that's crooked as a dog leg. Okay, so what's your daughter's favorite? Right away. I know you can't name names, or you're not in a position to name names yet. But what kind of things lead you to believe it's crooked as a dog's leg up here in Washington? Get some answers. Is it as widespread as it seems, or are you talking a few here and a few there? The corruption that you've seen and that you've been exposed to, if you could put into a dollar amount, how much do you think it's been? But they don't ask anything. And I sometimes I wonder if they want to know, and sometimes I wonder if they're just that stupid. It's hard to tell the difference at this point.
Was there any conversation in there about codifying the DOGE cuts? And did anyone say that they wanted
I don't know about in there, but when that's what everybody talks about.
Did anyone say that they wanted that in the CR, though, even though Johnson's already said it's off the table?
You're talking about a meeting with the president today or with Elon?
Elon.
Well, he's not going to make a decision on legislative type of things. That's going to be up to us. Again, it goes back to that guts thing that we lack.
But did anybody?
I would like to see it. I would like to see it as soon as possible.
Did anyone in there say that they want to see it in the CR?
I possibly did.
Did you?
What you got? You don't have anything, just smiling about my Lily Pulitzer? I said, who's Lily Pulitzer? He said, honey, it's Lily Pulitzer. And that's those sweet little dresses that me and Isabel wear. And I said, Mom.
And the president, do you have any other message for you all today?
Had a lot of messages. It was great. It was great. He was so open, and as he always has been. I've been on the edge of a lot of tough votes, and they didn't go the way that he would have liked. And he's never called me cussing. He's never threatened.
Yeah,
we've always talked in a business-like manner.
So he convinced you to vote for a clean CR?
He convinced me of it. I want to see some things. The definition of a clean CR. When you say clean CR, but we've got some adjustments, and those adjustments are what got me worried.
He's seeking your vote. Is that what he was?
Yeah, obviously. We've gotta give them a little room to work.
You're usually not CR.
Quickly, do you think we ought to be?
I don't even know why there is a media at this point. It makes no sense. You've got a sitting member of Congress who's willing to talk to you, and he's almost laughing at you. Yeah, you're going to be talking about Lily Pulitzer or whatever that is. It's disgusting. We're seeing the biggest crimes that you could possibly imagine here in the country, and you're talking about stupid stuff like that. Almost anybody with a reasonable brain would say, hey, can we dig into this further? But, you know, they don't have it. They don't have it in them, or they've been told, shh, don't talk about it. Well, now it's getting so big that they can't not talk about it. It's beginning to swell to a point where I bet you by the middle of next week or so, you can come back at me and say, oh, Barry, last week you said it was going to get big. By the middle of next week or so, things that happened over the last 24 hours are going to make this way too big to ignore.
He's sending government checks to dead people.
No, Senator, I think that's poor management.
During the pandemic, we sent out $1.4 billion of checks to dead people, didn't we?
I don't have the figure, Senator, but I wouldn't be surprised by that, given everything.
And they were cash.
We sent $1.4 billion of checks to dead people. Okay. Just let me just make sure I understood what you said.
Weren't they?
They generally get cash whether they're dead or not.
What does that tell you?
Somebody's live.
Yep. Now, Senator Carper and I passed a bill.
Stop. Okay, so we sent dead people billions of dollars, because that was just like one time, right? Let me just do some calculations here. So the dead people, and these are the same dead people that vote. So we've got some serious zombie stuff going on in this country. We have people who can transcend the grave to cash checks and to vote. So at some point, do you have to wonder, are there some sort of banks on the other side or something? I mean, if you cashed a check, number one, it means you had to go into the bank or you had direct deposit. They got a direct deposit in the other side? Because obviously, I'm being rhetorical, because obviously it's being stolen. And there's got to be so many people complicit with this. What, billion? $1 billion? Dead people? It's ludicrous on its surface. But the Democrats and the media won't even acknowledge it. Won't even talk about it.
Well, it took us 2 years. When to try to stop that, when you die, the state sends your name to the Social Security Administration. Your name goes on what's called the Death Master File.
Yes, sir.
I went to Social Security and I said, can I see the list? They said, sure. I said, who do you share this with? They said, nobody. We can't. We don't have statutory authority. So you don't share it with the do not pay folks at Treasury? They said, nope. It's against the law. Well, rather than argue with them, Senator Carper and I passed a bill. But believe it or not, to say Social Security, share the dead people list with the rest of government, for God's sakes. Put down the bone and share it with them. And believe it or not, we had opposition. So we had to agree to a 3-year trial period. That 3-year trial, we saved a bunch of money. That 3-year trial period is up at the end of 2026. I've got another bill with Gary Peters to extend it, to make it permanent. You guys got any problem with that?
Well, Senator, I cannot speak for the president or for Director Vogt.
Oh, go ahead.
But I can't. It's hard for me to imagine who would be opposed.
Well, you'd be surprised.
No, you wouldn't. They would have D's at the end of their names. Every single one of them. The guy that he was talking to, that was the new director of Personnel Management and Budget, OPBM, I think it's called, Dan Bishop. And what he's been uncovering, he cannot even believe. I can't believe it. I can't believe what I'm saying. This is just theft. Comical theft. Look in your face and laugh type of theft. Unreal. Now, this woman is from, I think, the Ukraine.
After we gave stuff at the Polish border and we don't know what's happening there. I said, that's BS. That is unacceptable.
What is the current way? When we give money, what happens to the money and who does the money go to? Like right now, the $61 billion, right? That's going to go to Ukraine. Where is that going?
You don't know if they're going to go to Ukraine, because if you think about it, that's what the problem I had. Like, I know, like, from even one of the packages before, $1 billion went to Yemen, who thinks in Yemen that we're taking from a terrorist list that's shooting our ships. So like, they have associated causes. So Ukraine is becoming a slush fund where none of this money actually go directly. Some of the money go to rebuild some of our allies,
This is Congresswoman Spartz. I believe that's how you say her name, Spartz. She's a congresswoman from Indiana, and she's a Republican congresswoman who is born in Ukraine. So she has seen it all. She knows it all. She's like telling people, hey, you might want to look at this. It's become a slush fund.
Europe, okay? That's all great, but why is that part of Ukrainian money? Some of them rebuild our stockpiles. Some of them, some of the countries give garbage to Ukraine and then bought some new equipment, and Ukraine got half of not working. So I think this is just not right way to do it. That's why I had a very big objections. Like, we don't even know the way how this bill written, most of them, we don't even know what is even going directly to Ukraine. Only part of it, I believe it's like 16 or something billion. It's, it says Ukraine security assistance for Ukraine specifically. But even part of that could be used to replenish stockpiles to some countries that give Ukraine. And we never can give an answer who gave what and where it is. So that's why I was surprised to see that a lot of these weapons, I didn't even see them there. So they were all, who knows where, what Biden is doing. The same blank check with his drawer. So if he can give to any international organizations, he can use.
Man, we are in so much trouble. We are looking at the crime of the century, and nobody wants to talk about it. We're seeing billions and billions of our dollar, hundreds and hundreds of billions of our dollars just been pissed away. Well, not been pissed away, has been stolen. And there's seemingly nobody who wants to do anything about it. It's incredible. Let me take a couple of questions. Not a sewer, it's a cesspool. Exactly. Me personally, I think dead people's identity was given to the newcomers. Good possibility for that to happen. Can I share the links to her talking? Yeah, I could do that. We are in Poot Creek, somebody says. Good afternoon, Barry. Thanks for your second show. I was wondering if you got my email about meeting Hulk Hogan. Yes, I did. I will respond to that. Biggest corruption in world history, and we can't get any answers. And it's getting to the point now where it's much, much bigger than we even thought of. So in case you guys didn't see, and okay, just to let you know, I'm still watching the screen. Yeah, he was supposed to come out at 3. It's 3:15, so the minute he comes up, let me check all my feeds to make sure there's nothing going on as of yet. So if you didn't have a chance to watch Lee Zeldin, I think it was last night or the night before, he was on with Jesse Waters. I want you to check out this segment, because in this segment, Lee Zeldin says something that's going to blow your socks off and pretty much should have everybody in the media and in law enforcement just absolutely losing it right now. So I've set the table for you, and you heard Congressman Sparks, and she's talking about, this money's just being used as a slush fund. This is the new term you're going to start hearing more and more. Slush fund. Because, again, Biden did so much between the time he lost the election and the time that Trump took office. And he brought all the Clinton, Obama cronies in to do it. And one of the names that keeps popping up is John Podesta. And John Podesta goes all the way back to 2016 with Hillary. And so all of the dead zombies came out of the woodwork sometime after the election and said, we need to cash in. I've got all these chips. I need to cash in these chips before Donald Trump takes office. And they moved, when you hear this, they moved hundreds of billions of dollars out the door before Donald Trump came in. Cash Patel and Pam, I should call him Cash Bondi. Cash Patel and Pam Bondi, their work at this point is I can't imagine when you hear this. Just listen to what, so much money. Did I not hit the right button? Hold on. Okay, listen to this.
Today, I've asked the Vice President to lead a renewed effort to hunt down misspent tax dollars in every agency and department of this government. We're calling it the Campaign to Cut Waste, and I know Joe's the right man to lead it, because nobody messes with Joe.
We're not just eliminating fraud and waste. We hope to be instilling an entire new culture that not only our administration, but every succeeding administration will in fact pursue.
But a few years later, when Joe was sitting in the Oval, he didn't cut fraud, waste, and abuse. He multiplied it. Biden's Inflation Reduction Act was a Trojan horse for the Green New scam. That was run by Hillary's hatchet man, John Podesta. And he says he has nothing to do with who got the money, but big surprise, Biden and Obama's friends got rich. The Free Press found that when Biden announced he was giving out money to fight climate change, Democrats and donors with ties to Biden and Obama lined up for grants. Some of them even formed new nonprofits right after they heard about the climate cash. Stacey Abrams was hired by a group called Rewiring America. Then they were awarded $500 million in taxpayer money. Ari Matsuiak is the CEO of that same organization. He worked in the Obama administration and donated thousands to Kamala. Beth Baffert is the CEO of the Climate United Fund, which got $7 billion of your money. $7 billion. Beth worked for the Obama campaign and White House earlier in her career, but told Primetime there's no relationship between Climate United and any political party. I'm sure of it. Richard Kaufman also worked for Obama, and he's a big-time donor, big time. He sent over $500,000 to Democrats. He got a good return on his investment, though. His group, Coalition for Green Capital, got $5 billion. Oh, but they say they're nonpartisan. The Opportunity Finance Network was awarded more than $2 billion. Their CEO, Harold Pettigrew, who got the job months before the grant's application went public, worked under Biden. If you want to get rich quick, start a nonprofit.
Now, obviously, in my estimation, what you're seeing, these people, they didn't get the money. I'm sure they got a cut, and they may have gotten a bonus or something else. Go ahead, go set up these nonprofits or these NGOs or do whatever you need to do. Set them up and we'll get the money funded. So they're the figurehead. They're the person who signed the corporation or the LLC for the nonprofit or the NGO. And then they were told to go to the bank and open up the bank accounts so we can start putting money in the accounts. The crime is number one, it went to these people. But the big crimes are going to be when that money hit those bank accounts, where did that money go? That's what Cash Patel and Pam Bondi and Scott Bessent from Treasury are going to have to do. Where did the money go? There's no way that young woman just happened to get $7 billion. Nope, didn't happen. There's no way she's sitting on a $7 billion, bank account. That money was gone probably within 24 to 48 hours of it hitting her account or her company's account. Who got it? Where did it go? What was it for? This is where, if you were really a journalist and you really wanted to dig in and see what was going on, this is something you could put your teeth in. You got the person. It's easy to find out who the bank was, and then you're going to have to dig in and find out all the tentacles. Where did the money go? Nobody wants to talk about it until now. Because now Jesse knows. And how does Jesse know? Well, I'm pretty sure Lee Zeldin clued him in.
Basically, the government-funded NGOs are a way to do things that would be illegal if they were the government, but are somehow made legal if it's sent to a so-called nonprofit. But these nonprofits are then used to, people cash out these nonprofits. They become very wealthy through nonprofits. They pay themselves enormous sums through these nonprofits.
And how many NGOs?
I think there's a total number of NGOs, probably millions, but in terms of large.
Millions? When you look at that, again, if you had the big war room board, you're like, okay, so the money came in from the, let me steal some bucks CEO, and then millions of people, here's 10 for you, 1 for you. Okay. The tentacles, down here is the hub, but there's all kinds of spokes, and everybody has got their hands in it. And we don't know who all these spokes are. But now they're starting to dig.
NGOs, tens of thousands.
If Democrats were really concerned about climate change, why are they funneling cash to all their friends instead of just sending it directly to solar and wind companies? These people can't figure out how to run a company even with free money. Biden gave a solar panel company, Sonova, a $3 billion loan. And now they say they're about to go bankrupt. Why'd Sonova get the check? Well, it doesn't hurt that Sonova's director served on a board with the head of Biden's energy loan program. Joe basically made a big mess giving our money to his friends and didn't lower the Earth's temperature a smidge. Now it's time for the Trump team to prosecute graft and get us a refund. Lee Zeldin.
Refund? All right, so we got some movement. Hold on.
Achievement to bring the World Cup next year, the FIFA World Cup in 26 here in the United States, together with Mexico and Canada. And this summer, actually, we have a new competition, the FIFA Club World Cup in 25, from the 14th of June to the 13th of July, only in the United States of America. 11 cities, 12 stadiums, the best players in the world, the best teams in the world. America will welcome the world. There will be millions of people coming, Mr. President, millions of people. The economic impact is $40 billion between now and next year. We will create 200,000 jobs for these 2 World Cups. And more than that, we will give joy and happiness to the entire world, and this is priceless, definitely. So thank you, Mr. President, for setting up this task force, because it is important that everyone that comes to America feels safe, feels welcome, and that's why it's important that the government puts together this White House task force chaired by the President himself. It shows the importance of the FIFA World Cups, I should say, because there are many topics to deal with, of course, and we want everyone who comes to America and who goes to watch one of these games. We have 10 million tickets for sale. It's like 3 Super Bowls every day for 1 month. That everyone that goes feels safe, feels happy, and feels that we are doing something special. So we're here to create and to make the best show on the planet ever, and we'll do it together, Mr. President.
Oh, that's great. I love what he said, like 3 Super Bowls a day for a month. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
That's really amazing when you think of it. I've never heard that expression. That's a lot. When we made this, it was made during my first term, and it was so sad because I said, can you imagine, I'm not going to be president? And that's too bad. And then what happened is they rigged the election and I became president. So that was a good thing. That was quite an achievement for both of us. So I'll be president during the World Cup and during the Olympics, which we were very instrumental in getting. And then, of course, we have our 250th birthday, too, when of that I wasn't instrumental. That just happened to fall on the same time. So we have those three big events. You don't get very much bigger than that. The Olympics, the World Cup, and number 250. And it's a great honor. But I appreciate your selecting us. And we were selected a long time ago, though, during my first term. And it's an honor to be with you, Johnny. Been my friend for a long time.
Absolutely.
He's a great gentleman.
So much.
Okay, I'll sign this, and that makes it official, right?
That makes it official, yes.
That's good. Jim.
Here we are. Then we have to start working.
Can you talk a little bit about the halftime show that you anticipate for the championship? Will it be like the Super Bowl halftime show or better?
Well, the Super Bowl has around 100 million viewers or 150 million viewers. The World Cup final has 2 billion viewers. So we have to make it 20 times better and 20 times bigger than the Super Bowl.
I think it'll be better. I think it will be better.
Any idea the economic impact of this in all these cities around the country? It's got to be huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It's around 40 billion in only the United States, 40 billion US dollars, the economic impact, 200,000 jobs created. It's so per city you can divide by 11, and a little bit what each city gets, more or less. Some cities get more, others get less. But we'll have 10 million tourists coming, some with tickets, others without tickets, who just want to be here during these World Cups.
What team is favored now, if there's such a thing? I mean, do they have a team like so many of these great famous teams? What team seems to be favored?
Well, on the club one, which takes place this year, of course, Real Madrid, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, the Germans, Paris Saint-Germain, the French. The big ones are always there, and these clubs are multinationals. They have players from all countries.
They always seem to be there, right?
They are always there.
Those great teams.
They are always there, yeah. And then next year, Argentina, Brazil,
right.
England, Germany, Spain.
It's going to be great.
So it will be great.
Any questions for Johnny?
US is coming up. US is coming. Watch the US. Some very, very good players playing in Europe, but we need to bring them back here to play here.
So can the US win?
The US can win, yes, with the public behind. They playing some of the top teams.
He knows.
Yeah. They playing some of the top teams.
There's a shot, right?
Yeah, there is a shot. Absolutely, yes.
That's great. Well, we'll hold that up for you guys. Ryan, did you have another question?
Well, I was just going to say, this continues your pursuit to bring America back in every aspect, the economy, world peace, sports now, which is awesome. I want to preview a little bit of the Olympics. I know you talked about that before.
Well, I'm just very happy to have done it. I mean, I didn't think this was going to happen. I said, I'll be sitting there, but not as president. So I was, very honored. Actually, Johnny reminded me, called me up very early on. He said, "You're going to be president during this whole thing after we won." So it's a great honor for our country to have it. Actually, it's a big deal. It's I don't know which is bigger, the Olympics or the World Cup. What is the story on that? Can I ask you that question?
The World Cup is much, much, much bigger than the Olympics. Come on. and it's in the whole country. Huh?
Yeah,
the Olympics
we've got them both.
Mr. President, it's a long way off, Mr. President, but do you foresee yourself attending some matches or a match?
Oh, yeah, sure. I would like to. I'd like to go to certainly more than one.
Yes.
We'll be making the rounds. It's a period of a month.
Yep.
And it's really top of the line. It's one of the great events, maybe one of the great events of anywhere in the world.
Yes.
Mr. President, since you last spoke about it yesterday, some details have come out about your cabinet meeting with Elon Musk and some clashes potentially between Secretary Rubio and Secretary.
No clash. I was there. You're just a troublemaker. And you're not supposed to be asking that question because we're talking about the World Cup. Elon gets along great with Marco, and they're both doing a fantastic job. There is no clash.
Mr. President, bottom line.
Who are you with?
NBC.
Oh, no wonder. That's enough. NBC.
Who has more authority, Elon Musk or your cabinet secretary?
Any other questions about the World Cup?
Can we unveil the trophy, maybe?
I'd love to do
because this is something special. So today is 100 days to go for a new competition that we created together. The FIFA Club World Cup, the best clubs in the world with the best players in the world. So we can show this is a unique trophy. This is the trophy, but it's not finished because it's unlike any other trophy. There is a key.
Oh, Wow.
There is no other sports trophy like that.
Oh, that is good. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to be kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait.
Wow. That's one of those.
And that's the trophy.
That is something, huh?
We got to win now, Mr. President.
This is a good one.
That's beautiful.
Inter Miami and Seattle Sounders play
Never seen
for this
anything
trophy.
like that.
It is it's a trophy of the future.
Yeah.
It represents the past, the future, everything, the present.
And this will be at the White House for a little while.
Yes.
So if anybody needs a picture or anything, you can take it. But this is.
If you like it, Mr. President, it can stay here just on the 13th of July. You should take it with me.
Let's leave it here.
To the stadium to give it to the winners. They can take a picture, then we bring it back here after the picture.
Let's do that. We'll leave it here. We'll have it in the White House quite a bit.
Excellent.
It travels a little bit also, but I appreciate it. That's good. And I know this can definitely stay, right? Anyway, thank you, Johnny, very much.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
On the cabinet meeting, sir, just on the cabinet meeting, you said Musk will play an advisory role. DOGE will play.
We're talking about FIFA. Thank you very
About
much.
the World Cup, Mr. President, you're having.
And they're both great guys. And by the way, they both get along fantastically well. Marco has done unbelievably as Secretary of State. And Elon is a very unique guy who's done a fantastic job.
Do you think he needs to be reined in, Mr.
Enough. It's FIFA. Is this a FIFA question?
How do you see the World Cup playing out with the tensions you have with Canada and Mexico?
Oh, I think it's going to make it more exciting. Tension's a good thing.
Even for the World Cup?
Yeah, I think so. I think it makes it much more exciting.
Sir, the entire committee is here for FIFA with Johnny?
Please come up.
Would you like them to come up and take a picture?
Please, Johnny, come on. Get them up. That's great.
Mr. President, what type of enhanced security do you anticipate having for all of these big events
I'll let you.
that are happening over the course of the next week?
I'll let Christy answer that question.
Oh, answer what question?
Go ahead. Security.
The security for this event will be run by the Department of Homeland Security. So we are signing today this document that will say that we will form task forces and partnerships. We'll have incident command centers in these 11 cities that will partner all the agencies and departments at the federal. We'll have some worldwide partners as well, as long
Global
as
level.
yes, it'll be under our umbrella, and we'll help facilitate that. But also working with our local law enforcement is incredibly powerful. So streamlining those communications, it'll be a wonderful event, and everybody will be safe and fun.
We better be, right?
Yeah, it will be.
And this is the official ball
Thank you very
with your
much.
name.
Thank you. Ooh, that's nice. I would give it to Christy, except it has my name on it.
We have another one for
you.
Of course.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much. Is that going to be the ball?
This is the official match ball.
This will be what it will look like, the ball?
Yes.
When they play?
When they play.
Wow, that's
Yes.
great.
Yes, nobody has played yet.
That's great. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Johnny, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We're expecting to hear live from.
Okay, so that was pre-recorded, obviously, and then we have the live event that's coming up real soon, which we will show in its entirety as soon as he comes out. It's funny when I read the comments, and I'm just put this one up myself. I don't know when you began following Donald Trump. Maybe it was in 2016. Maybe it was thereafter. But if you have known anything about Donald Trump, because I saw many people in the comments, and some of the comments weren't very good. Let me just tell you, if you're not aware of his history, this may seem all new to you. President Trump has always been involved in sports. He loves the way sports bring people together, whether it's entertainment, whether it's camaraderie, whether it's business. He has been well immersed in sports for decades. well before he became a president, way beforehand. I know this personally because I almost played for his USFL team, New Jersey Generals. That was going to be his team. He wanted so bad to make that an NFL team and then end up taking that from the USFL into the NFL. And then he sued the NFL, and he didn't win to be able to, they wouldn't give him a franchise. So his thing was, if I use the USFL and I build a really big brand, then the NFL will bring us in. That's where the relationship with Herschel Walker came into play. Bet you didn't know this. So he signed Herschel Walker away from the NFL and gave him an amazing contract. And the contract was well beyond football because obviously the New Jersey Generals weren't an established team. How could they possibly pay him? Well, he gave him back then. We're talking 1985, 1986. He gave him what was called a personal service contract. And he said, even if this team sucks and the league folds, I'm going to pay you as a personal service contract, a personal employee. And that's where it began. And then you must know, he was really, really, really good friends with Don King. And he was immersed in boxing. Loved Muhammad Ali. The two of them are always hamming it out. So we're talking 80s. Not just, and you know the story about the ice skating rink, and you know about UFC, and you know, the dude loves sports. He has been a sports lover for decades. And so this, I'm sure he looked at, is almost how can I explain it? A brand building experience. You see, he's going to, and he said, he goes, I wanted it, and I wasn't president, and now it's time, because they revolve every 3 or 4 years, we're going to host the Olympics, and we're going to host the World Cup. And I saw some people here, it doesn't make me any money. You gotta tap in, bro. You gotta tap in here. Dig in deep and understand what this is all about. It's about brand building. He is going to make this an absolute spectacle in terms of what the World Cup with. Sometimes you have to buy the hammer to make the house. Sometimes you need the screwdriver and the drill. These sporting events are global in nature. You ever wonder to yourself why the corporations spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for a suite at a game? My old boss, I think his suite bill was like $150,000 a year down at Miami Dolphin Stadium. He would use it every once in a while. Most of the time he didn't use it. But when he wanted to close a deal or he wanted to do some business, people would fly in and they would go to a game, and it's a nice suite and everything, 15 or 20 seats, and it's catered. There's a reason why these companies spend so much money at these sporting events, because that's where business takes place. Why does business take place on a golf course? Why does Trump have so many golf courses? It's just dirt, and people walk around and do things. One of the reasons why sporting events are so good for business is because it's a relaxed atmosphere where you have a client or prospect, a captive audience with them for 3 or 4 hours. You will never get that at a business meeting. You're not going to call up anybody, hey, listen, I'm going to come see you, we're going to talk about this, and I need your undivided attention for 3-4 hours. Good luck. No way. Football game, you're there, it's relaxed, and you're having drinks, and you're meeting people, and you're signing autographs, and you're building camaraderie. You're building your brand. So don't think for an instance what Donald Trump's brand is going to be is America. And you're going to have CEOs, excuse me, you're going to have CEOs, big businessmen from across the globe, who he's now going to be able to hold court. He's going to have the biggest suite. He's going to have the biggest spread. Everything. The Kentucky Derby. I mean, he will go to everything and shake hands and say, okay, let's talk about this. I've seen more deals get done on a golf course than I've seen in any office anywhere. Why? Again, you got 3 or 4 hours to talk to somebody in a very relaxed situation. So when Trump goes golfing and he brings this person in or that person in, and they're sitting next to him in the golf cart, and they're driving around. So hey, what do you think about deal? It's that I've seen it. Me personally, I've seen deals get made at sporting events, whether it's down in the hockey arena down here where the Panthers play, or whether it's in Dolphin Stadium up in a suite. I've seen people do business. So now you've got arguably two of the biggest events in the world, bigger than the Super Bowl. And those of you guys who don't know international sports, sorry, but yeah, the World Cup is, like he just said, it's like having 3 Super Bowls every single day. We opened up a stadium here, not we, but the stadium opened up here in Fort Lauderdale. And it's a soccer stadium. And it probably holds 20,000 seats. And they signed Messi to this team. And you would think that, I can't even compare it. I've never seen anything like it. As many athletes I've been around at Football Star, I've never seen anything like what happened when Messi signed with Inter Miami. David Beckham, amazing what he did. And so now that becomes to a point where they can't fit in that stadium anymore. And they may not even be that good. And if Cristian Ronaldo, it's simply amazing. And then when that team comes, and if there's a team coming from Argentina, then Millie's going to come. And so on and so forth. And we're talking huge. So if you're not seeing the potential of a sporting event, the sporting event's basically the loss leader. You're going to get tickets, you're going to get concessions, you're going to get parking, and then people are going to stay in hotels. And it has a monstrous economic impact to that immediate area. But what you can do from a governmental perspective dwarfs that. Because now you can bring in the shipbuilder from Egypt. You can bring in someone from whatever country, and you're going to have these people in a very relaxed setting, having a great time, and now let's talk a little bit of business. And then you can say, hey, you know what, let's get on the jet, and I'll take you down to one of my golf clubs. And we'll go ahead and, I'll take you to Doral. There's so many things he can do with this, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but I'm just trying to get you to open your eyes as to what he's doing. It's huge. At least the people, you have to be able to see the big picture of what President Trump is trying to achieve in all areas. You got to broaden your mind. No, everybody's not going to like soccer. From a sport perspective, I am not a big soccer fan. I don't even get it, how you just run up and down all day and have something be 2-0, that's the end of your game. But it's not that. He's not going there to watch he didn't even know who was good. He's like, who do you expect to win? Did you catch that? Who do you think is going to be the winning team? If he was following soccer, he would know that Real Madrid is probably going to be the team that wins. Then he said, the United States have a chance? He doesn't know. You know why? Because it's not important. What's important is what he's going to build around these events. The Olympics. Yeah. Can you imagine the showman that Donald Trump is and what he's going to do with the Olympics? It looks like they're getting ready to have this crypto thing. So, good segue. If you thought talking about soccer was something that you don't understand, many of you might not understand this. It is a huge crypto summit. And you see some of the dignitaries in here and billionaires and everybody else. This is huge. I've said it before. Begin educating yourself. What in the hell just happened? Okay, so I may have to go to feed number 2 because for some reason feed number 1 just went down to a different network. So let's go here while I fix the feed. Okay, hold on. Where is the feed? Hold on. Why am I not?
during my first term, we worked out a deal to get the World Cup, and then because of lots of interesting things that happened, I ended up being president when it showed up. I was always disappointed. I wasn't going to make it. I was going to serve 8 straight. Instead, we did it the hard way, but maybe the more important way. So I will be with you as president, Johnny. So maybe you could just say a few words and show how beautiful the World Cup trophy is. Thank you. Yeah, sure, please. Yeah.
The famous key.
That's a great key.
You want to open it, President? Or
Well, you go ahead. I trust you.
So this is the new of a new competition. It's called the FIFA Club World Cup. The 32 best clubs in the world with the absolutely best players in the world. And for the first time in history, this competition takes place in the United States. Opening game on the 14th of June.
Right.
Obviously in Miami. Final on the 30th of July this year in New York, New Jersey. But it's not that. It's really special because it is a key, and because, as you can see, if I manage to do that, yes, it's a bit tricky. It's not. So this is a trophy. It is a trophy which represents, and that's why I think it's interesting to show this trophy exactly in this format, because it represents the past, but it's also projected to the future. There is no sports trophy which looks like that. It has engraved the history of the game, of soccer or football as we call it, the participating teams of the first edition, the stadiums, beautiful stadiums in 11 cities in the United States of America where this competition will take place. So at the same time, past, present, and projected to the future. And if I may, President, say another 2 words, and then I let you. But FIFA, as you know, is a brand which is globally known, a very strong brand. The soccer economy in the world is worth around 270 billion a year. 70% of that, Mr. President, is in Europe. So imagine the potential that there is around the world only in soccer if we develop it. And so FIFA is very, very interested under my presidency to develop a FIFA coin, to do it from here, from America, and to conquer the 5 billion soccer fans in the world. So if there's anyone here who is interested to team up with FIFA, here we are, together with the United States of America, and we will conquer the world of soccer with the FIFA coin. Thank you.
Thank you. That coin, that's right. That coin may be worth more than FIFA in the end. It could be quite a coin, actually. Huh? Anyway, thank you, Johnny. Great job. I just thought you should see this trophy because it's really, it's the biggest sporting event in the world, and we have it here. And we appreciate being selected. Thank you very much, Johnny. You do a fantastic job. And welcome to the first ever White House Digital Assets Summit. I know that many of you have been fighting for years for this, and it's an honor to be with you at the White House. I want to thank the White House AI and crypto czar David Sachs, Treasury Secretary. This is David right here, in case you don't know. You know David. And a man who's doing a great job as Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, who's right here. Scott, thank you very much. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, wherever you may be, Howard. Hi, Howard. He's doing some interesting work right now with all that's going on. He's right in the middle of it and doing a great job. Thank you. SBA Administrator Kelly Loeffler. And thank you. SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce.
While he's introducing everybody, please let me know if the volume is okay. I see somebody saying it's too loud, but maybe they just need to turn it down on their own side. But let me know about the volume.
Majority Whip Tom Emmer. Hello, Tom. Representative Brian Stile. Thank you. Brian, thank you very much. Digital Assets Council Director Bo Hines. Good, Bo. Great job. And many other distinguished guests. We have a lot of very distinguished people around the table. Some of them will be speaking. I want to thank Marco Rubio also, who's right over there. And we have tremendous people very interested in this subject. And last year, I promised to make America the Bitcoin superpower of the world and the crypto capital of the planet. And we're taking historic action to deliver on that promise, as you know, around the table. Yesterday, I signed an executive order officially creating our strategic Bitcoin reserve. And this will be a virtual Fort Knox for digital gold to be housed within the United States Treasury. That's a big thing, Scott. The federal government is already among the largest holders of Bitcoin, as you know. Really one of the largest holders in the world, with as many as 200,000 Bitcoin obtained via civil law and various other forms of law, and including enforcement actions. These existing holdings will form the foundation of the new reserve. Unfortunately, in recent years, the U.S. government has foolishly sold tens of thousands of additional Bitcoin that were worth billions and billions of dollars had they not sold them, but they did sell them, mostly during the Biden administration. Not a good thing to have done. From this day on, America will follow the rule that every Bitcoin knows very well: never sell your Bitcoin. That's a little phrase that they have. I don't know if that's right or not. Who the hell knows, right? Who knows? Who knows? But so far, it's been right. And well, let's keep it that way. The Treasury and Commerce Departments will also explore new pathways to accumulate additional Bitcoin holdings for the reserve, provided it's done at no cost to the taxpayers. We don't want any cost to the taxpayers. In addition, my order directs federal agencies to conduct an inventory of all crypto assets currently held by the U.S. government and determine how they can be transferred easily to the Treasury. Non-Bitcoin digital assets will be held in a new U.S. digital asset stockpile where they will be managed properly. My administration also is working to end the federal bureaucracy's war on crypto, which was really going on pretty wildly during Biden until the election came about. About 5 months before the election, he became a big fan because he heard how many people were in favor of it and how many people love it and respect it. But I guess it didn't work out too well for him. People understood what was going on and paved the way for groundbreaking innovations in institutional finance. Under the Bitcoin administration, regulators strong-armed banks. I mean, they really did. They strong-armed banks into closing the accounts of crypto businesses and entrepreneurs, effectively blocking some money transfers to and from exchanges, and they weaponized government against the entire industry. But I know that feeling also. Maybe better than you do. All of that will soon be over, and we are ending Operation Choke Point 2.0. Now, some people really suffered. It was ridiculous what they were doing. But in the end, they came around, but they came around for the wrong reasons. They came around only because they wanted votes, and they saw that tens of millions of people were against them because of what they were doing. I also want to express my strong support for the efforts of lawmakers in Congress as they work on bills to provide regulatory certainty for dollar-backed stablecoins and the digital assets market. They're working very hard on that. This is a tremendous opportunity for economic growth and innovation in our financial sector, and will really go a long way. I think it's going to be a tremendous, we feel like pioneers in a way, of tremendous method of growth. And things are very much tied, and we want to keep it that way, the U.S. dollar. Long into the future, we're going to keep it that way. I hope lawmakers will send that legislation to my desk before August recess if they can. and they're very much working with you, and you know a lot of them, and a lot of them were committed right from the very beginning. So I just want to congratulate you all for being at the White House today, and a man who knows more about Bitcoin and AI and just about everything else than anybody, David Saxton. I'd like to have you say a few words, David.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're all here today because of your leadership, your vision, and your generosity, and I really want to thank you for that. We're also here because of your desire to make America great and to introduce a golden age in America, including for digital assets. And we're here because of your love of innovators, or as you might say, high IQ people. Yeah, we know you love high IQ people. And we have about 30 of them here in the room today. These are the top people in the digital asset industry. And one other thing that I think that you love is legal fairness. This is an industry that was subjected to prosecution and persecution for the last 4 years, horrible lawfare, and nobody knows what that feels like better than you do. So we really appreciate the fact that you understand legal fairness and that you're always willing to fight for the right thing, for legal fairness. You never back down. You stand defiant, even in the face of an assassin's bullet. It's an inspiration to everyone in this room, I think. So it's an honor.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I just want to say it's an honor to work for you. It's an honor to work for a president who works every day to get so much done on behalf of the American people. Your administration is moving at tech speed. It's really amazing. It's actually faster than any startup that I've been part of. Is that your administration moves even faster. So I just want to say thank you for having me be a part of it. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I love working for you, and thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you, David, very much. Appreciate it.
And now I just want to pass the ball to Secretary Besson.
Scott?
David, so today, when President Trump has signed the executive order to establish the strategic Bitcoin reserve and stockpile, we're going to position the United States as a leader among nations in the digital asset strategy. It's important for the United States to recognize this fact and get ahead of the other nations in the digital age. We applaud the President's direction to use the digital assets already in possession of the nation, and we are going to establish this Bitcoin reserve. We will use this authority to augment the asset side of the United States balance sheet. As I've said many times, President Trump is creating assets for the American people while most past presidents have created debt, and a large part of this asset program can be in digital assets. We are going to end the regulatory weaponization against digital assets. The Biden administration's actions did nothing other than punish innovators, and that all of you have made it here today is really a testament to your fortitude. Much of Treasury's responsibility in this order relates to the tax code and determinations around risk weightings, and I'm here to assure you that we are going to work with the Controller of the Currency, the IRS, and we're going to rescind and amend all applicable previous guidance. And we are going to put a lot of thought into the stablecoin regime, and as President Trump has directed, we are going to keep the U.S. the dominant reserve currency in the world, and we will use stablecoins to do that. Thank you.
Technology is at the foundation of the Trump presidency. He understands technology, he embraces technology, and he's going to use technology to drive America forward. The blockchain and Bitcoin technology are a key part of that thinking, and embracing that, and here today shows how much a leader the Trump administration and our president is. He understands it. He embraces it. As you said, you're a pioneer in this place, and this is where we're going. We're using the blockchain, we're using Bitcoin, we're going to use digital assets to pound forward, and Donald Trump is leading the way. Can't be more proud of you today.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Howard. Kelly, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is truly a historic day, and as a crypto founder, I couldn't be more proud to be part of your administration. You're moving at the speed of tech for sure, and I will just say it's a great day to have the war on not just crypto, but the war on innovation done. And under your administration, we are truly going to enter into the golden age. And I'll just say, as the administrator of the SBA, small business is a tremendous network that crypto can be deployed against, and so the SBA is open to crypto. So I look forward to working with all of the leaders in this room to advance your efforts here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you very much. Tom, please.
Well, Mr. President, I want to say thank you. I want to thank you for the amazing team that you put together. I want to thank you for David. I mean, this kind of a meeting, no one in this room could have envisioned this just a couple years ago. You are the one that has the vision. You're the one that said, we are going to do 21st century finance right here in the United States of America. I've been doing this for 9 years. It is amazing how far we've come, and that's a credit to you, Mr. President, and your leadership, and God bless you for doing this, because it's going to make a huge difference with everything else you're doing. And by the way, Americans love it. They're going crazy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Go ahead, please.
Does anyone want to say a couple of words? Cameron or Tyler, do you want to?
You're very shy in front of the camera.
Cameron, I think you said something earlier that I thought was really profound. You said that a year ago you thought it would be more likely that you'd end up in jail than at the White House. Not to put you on the spot, because you didn't do anything wrong, but that was the environment a year ago. But do you guys want to say something, either one of you?
Sure, that was actually Tyler who said that. but it's
sorry, I still get mixed up.
But yeah, we never thought that we'd get attacked the way we did in our backyard after trying to do the right thing for so many years and always trying to raise the bar with respect to regulations. So it's truly wonderful to see how things have changed and how the pendulum has swung back in the way that it has. And we've always felt that the U.S. should lead in Bitcoin and crypto, and it's ours to sort of lead and win. And it's just wonderful what President Trump has been doing with this, and we look forward to working together. And thanks for inviting us, David, and setting this up.
Thank you. Thank you both. Please.
I was just going to say thank you, Mr. President. Cameron takes credit for a lot of my things I say, so it's not the first time. But the U.S. won the internet, and the U.S. should win crypto. So thank you for your leadership on this.
Thank you both very much. High IQ individuals around this table. That's what I always say. We need high IQ. So thank you very much. Would anybody like to say anything? Please.
I just want to express my deep gratitude for the seriousness with which you're approaching our industry and how you're actually helping guide it in the right direction. I've worked with many central banks in other countries, and when I was working there, I was wondering why I, as an American citizen, can't help the United States financial system reach this higher level that the world is on course towards generally. Right. And so I'm very grateful that finally there's been a new level of kind of common sense and adoption of these ideas. Me and the other people in this room do believe that the crypto, blockchain, Web3 infrastructure is the next iteration of the financial system. And I think that the U.S. should have its leadership position continue in that new financial system. And I'm very, very happy to see people like David Sachs, Secretary Bessent, Secretary Lutnick taking this very seriously with their time, and very grateful to them too. So I'm just overjoyed to see this, and I think it is a big part of how the U.S. can continue its role in the global financial system. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I thought it was very important that we stay in the front of this one. This is a big one. And as you know, China is pushing forward and very strongly as usual. But we're way in the lead, as we are in AI and other things, and we want to stay there. So I thought this was very important. And we have some brilliant people sitting around this table. And it's an honor to have you involved, but we want to stay at the forefront of everything. And this is a very important day in your lives. I know you worked, some of you, very long before people really understood what was happening. And so I congratulate you, but this is a big day. Being in the White House is a big deal. and you have great support. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, please. Thank you very much. Thank you, media. Thank you. Please.
Did he just show him the door? That's it? We don't get to hear?
That's good.
So I'm not sure if he just showed him the door. Oh my gosh. Oh. I thought we were going to get to hear everybody get into the conversation and talk about it. I didn't know we were just going to get the snippet, the remarks. Oh, I am so bummed. I am personally bummed. I would love to have sat in that room and heard what these people were going to talk about. I hope they have a video afterwards, even if they edit it. I want to hear what people like Michael Saylor have to say about Bitcoin. I'm bummed. I can't tell you right now how bummed I really am. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. But I did love how he went, step. Only he could do that. Not a word. Thank you. You gotta go. Because I'm sure a number of people in the press were like, oh, this is going to be good. Nope, you can't be here. I'm so bummed. I was so bummed. I was ready to hit the button and buy something based on what these guys were going to say. Listen, I know many of you, obviously, based upon the poll that I put up, 75% of you don't have any Bitcoin. Wow. And many of you don't want any Bitcoin, which is completely fine. I will never, ever push something upon you. If you don't like Bitcoin, don't trust it, that's fine with me. But for those who want to learn and those who can... Here's my question. You guys all are MAGA. You all trust President Trump. You've said it many times. You voted for him. You were enthused about the cabinet he put together. Scott Dissent, Howard Lutnick, Kelly Loeffler, Mark Rubio. And that team that you put together has said, we are going to be the leader in Bitcoin. So while it may not be your cup of tea, you may not understand it, I'm kind of finding it hard to understand how you don't, quote, trust it. Do you think he's going to lead America into something that's bad for Americans? Because that's essentially what you're saying at that point. You're saying that, we really don't know what President Trump is doing here, and we don't trust him with, we'll trust him with our vote, but I ain't going to trust him with my money. That's exactly what you're saying. But that's fine. Again, many of you are on fixed incomes. Many of you aren't in a position to do much, and I completely understand. I have empathy there. That's all. That's all I want to say. And if you would like to learn more, there are some people in here who probably can help you learn. Understand you got to get the training wheels on so you understand what's going on. And I saw somebody say, you can lose it all overnight. Not really. Not really. That's not really true. But those of you who want to but just aren't there, I'm not saying spend any money. I would never tell you to do something you are uncomfortable with. Never going to hear it from me. Never going to see me post it anywhere. What I am going to tell you is the way you end up becoming comfortable about something is by learning. And how do I know this for a fact? Because you've done it. I can't tell you how long ago I was telling many of you, hey, get on X. You're going to see things on X you're not going to see on the news, not in your local newspapers. And be like, I never used X before. Oh man, it's crazy. I don't even know if I want to go on that X place. I like Facebook and look at puppy pictures and stuff like that, my grandkids. And I'm like, well, you can lurk. No, I don't want to do that either. And then we formed a group. And many of you, many of you joined that group. We're getting close to 16,000 people in this group right now. And I'm like shocked. I'm like, wow. And you're posting and you're commenting and you're sharing. And I've gotten so many emails and so many comments saying, Barry, I didn't know it would be like this. And now people are, I mean, there are people making their own videos. There are people, it's amazing. By the way, if you want to join it, hey, if you'd like to join 15,000 plus fellow patriots on X in our private X/Twitter group, go to fanfareshop.org/group. Just put in that URL in your browser. It'll take you right to our private group on X. Love to see you there. Let's share some content. And if you'd like to win a hoodie, or rather if you'd like to enter to win a hoodie, go to fanfareshop.org, fanfareshop.org, and register to win a Trump hoodie.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
And I'm seeing this comment by Severo. He's like, yeah, true story. Yeah, just jump on in. It's free. Just use that URL and you won't go to the subscription page. You'll go to the free page. And then you'll join, and one of the mods here will go ahead and approve you. You come in, and it's safe. And no one's going to say anything nasty to you more than once. Because if they say something to you or post something that's not correct or bad, we're on it. You're not going to see any porn. You're not going. It's just people like you who are, and there are many people who have never even posted, but just read the stuff that we post, and we put everything in there. And I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago when we started thinking about it, and the people, I don't want no X. Well, it's the same thing. You had to learn. You had to get your feet. You had to get your feet wet in it. And so the same thing with crypto. Nobody is ever going to do anything that they have no idea what it is. I won't even go to a restaurant with Robin, and she's like, here, try this food. I'm like, I don't know about that. But you know what? At the same time, I can't tell you how many times I've had that face. I don't know about that. And she'll say, I know you. You'll like it. I dive right in. Because I trust her. And now, after 30 years, she knows. I mean, she has stopped me. Don't eat that. Why? You're not going to like it. Oh, really? You sure? You're not going to like it. Okay. Oh, don't eat that. It's going to make you sick. Why does it make me sick? Because I know it makes you sick. Oh, okay. President Trump is like Robin in that instance. He's taking you to a restaurant, and he's telling you, I think you're going to like this. I'm pretty sure this might be something you're going to want to eat. But he can't make you, nor is he going to try and make you, because obviously at this point, he hasn't got that level of trust with you. I can spend my vote, but I'm not really ready to spend my money. Okay. I understand completely. And in that regard, all I would say to you in closing on that is, just educate yourself. The education is free. There are no shortage of people talking about X. And in fact, if I go to X right now, there's probably a group live with maybe 50,000 people in it. Let me see if I can find it, if it's live right now. Where is it? I have to look on my other account because that's where I can see stuff. Where is it? Okay, I'm on X. Let me see if there's anything live I can show you. Live. I don't see anything live right now. Earlier, there was a whole bunch of people live on it. And nope, don't see anybody live right now. But there's always usually, especially like with Mario, there's some people out there that are always talking crypto that you can jump onto. And you know, just enjoy it. You don't have to jump into anything and spend any money. Again, nobody should ever tell you that. So all right, so not me, not anybody else. Just don't worry about it. So I was talking earlier. Let me go back to it. We were talking about DOGE, and you saw Congressman Burchett, and he was talking about what he found, and I segued that into Jesse Waters last night. I want to finish up today's show by finishing up with what Lee's. I mean, the timing was perfect. So if you didn't see what he was talking about beforehand, you can definitely see it right now. All right, so what I want to show you is what happened at the end of Jesse Waters' show when he was talking to Lee Zeldin. Check this out.
Trump's EPA administrator. Is this a kickback? Is it theft? Is it graft? What would you call it?
All the above. It's a green slush fund. $20 billion parked at an outside bank towards the end of the Biden administration, given to just 8 NGOs. You just named a bunch of them. These NGOs were created for the first time, many of them just to get this money. And they're pass-throughs. So the EPA entered into this account control agreement with these entities. Treasury enters into a financial agent agreement with the bank, and they design it to tie the EPA's hands behind their back, to tie the federal government's hands behind its back. So when the money goes through the NGOs to subgrantees, many of them also pass-throughs. We don't know where it's going. We don't have the proper amount of oversight. And as you pointed out, it's going to people who are in the Obama and Biden administrations. It's going to donors. It's not going directly, as you pointed out, thankfully you did, it's not going directly to remediate that environmental issue to deliver clean air, land, and water. It's billions, tens of billions of dollars going through their friends.
Well, they're going to say they didn't steal it. They're just going to say they got paid salaries and then they donated it to some other subcontractor who got paid salaries, and it eventually went to some kid to pick up litter. Right? Because like at the end of this, what's it, like 5% of this money actually goes towards the environment? How much actually goes towards the environment after it's been just stripped out for salaries?
That would normally work to get you off the cuff. I mean, so you're not being arrested. You can say, hey, listen, we tried to do something. We had a couple meetings, and, like he said, the kid picked up some trash from the street. We should be okay, right? No, it's government money. Are you telling me that there's not some sort of, well, I guess there hasn't been a government watchdog that continues to watch where the money is going? And the conflict of interest. How can you be a congressman voting to give this entity money while you're taking some of it?
Right, and stripped out for salaries of middleman after middleman going through these multiple added layers. I'll give you an example. On the other end of this, there was one CEO who was serving on the White House Environmental Justice Council for the Biden administration. While she was serving on this council, she was CEO of an organization that applied for and received $20 million. So some people were able to, with the right connections, be on the receiving end of billions of dollars. Others on the other end of this getting tens of millions of dollars, and the federal government not having oversight. And I just mentioned the account control agreements that were entered into at EPA and these prime recipients. They were amending the account control agreements right up to the inauguration. They were amended account control.
Whoa. Okay, so now it's starting to come out, and you're starting to see a clear picture. It was, OMG, this dude got elected. We need to start shuffling as much money as fast as possible out the door to this labyrinth of NGOs that this person and that person have their hands in, to the tune of $375 billion. In about 6 or 7 weeks. They were busy as bees, spending as much of your money as possible before Trump got into office. You're going to have a hard time explaining that one.
Agreements we found January 13th.
So they were scrambling before you guys got in there and kicked some tires.
They amended it. So yeah, they amended these account control agreements to reduce EPA oversight and to make it easier for them to pass through the money without getting caught.
So you caught them. And have you kicked this over to Pam Bondi at Justice?
Yeah, the Justice Department and FBI have been working very closely with us. They've been working hard on this. My conversation.
And now you know why the rats are scrambling. Now you can actually, it makes sense to me now. After you take all this in, there's two things that make a lot of sense. One, it explains the complete visceral anger that the Democrats have at all of this being exposed, because they know what's coming. It's just a matter of time. And each one of them who dipped their toe in this water and filled up a cup and put it in their refrigerator, you're going to get caught. Jasmine Crockett, you can see some of the exposés that people are putting out on her and how she went from basically nothing to, tens of millions of dollars. How Jeffries came into office $40,000 in debt. And in a matter of a couple years, he's now worth $36 million. How do you go from $40,000 in debt to $36 million net worth, only making $175,000 to $200,000 a year over the last 5 years? Okay, it's virtually impossible. Unless, of course, you hit the lottery 3 or 4 times, which you have to show. And I bet you can do this from congressperson to congressperson to congressperson. That one of the reasons, and Robin has said it to me, she's like, our government would be done. There's so many people stealing. It's so widespread over such a long period of time. I don't know if we would have enough people to operate the government. Never mind staffing some of these agencies. They're all, like Tim Burchett said, they're all into it. AOC, millions. We know she was broke. She was a flipping bartender. And now she's worth, how? Explain it. Talk to me like I'm stupid. Tell me how Stacey Abrams, who lost her election, is worth, who knows what she stole or was given to steal. How? There's not a single economist on the left that will explain this. Tell me how this is humanly possible without hitting a lottery. Without hitting a lottery or having a dead uncle leave you a gazillion dollars. How did you go from broke, from being a woman in Atlanta with no money, putting up signs in the street, and all of a sudden you got gazillion dollars? You can go all the way back to President Obama. You were what? You were an activist? I didn't know an activist was a job. And then somehow you still were broke, and then you became president, and then you get out of the presidency, and you're worth like $100 million. Oh yeah, because I wrote a book. What? There's another big money laundering scandal thing. Write a book that nobody buys, but all of a sudden it's on the New York bestseller. Yeah, I believe the New York bestseller list. It's absurd. And it's been that way for quite some time. The only people losing money are the good people. Since Donald Trump came into the office worth billions, and his network has dropped. Elon Musk, working for the government, before he started working for the government, well, he's still the richest man in the world, but before he's lost like 90... I got a Tasmanian devil out there. He has lost $90 billion of net worth. Why is it that the good people lose money, yet the bad people keep cashing it in?
With the Attorney General, she seems very focused and motivated. Same thing when I had an opportunity to speak to our great new FBI director. We have to ensure that there's accountability here, and we have to make sure that the federal government reestablishes oversight. We can't afford as a country to have this kind of money wasted. We should have zero tolerance for even a penny of waste and abuse.
Wow.
But there should be no way that tens of billions are going up.
A lot of scandals in the Biden administration, but this seems like a whopper. Glad you found it out. Lee Zeldin, we really appreciate it. Let's get to the...
You said those very words, actually, in the speech about that you'll help in cutting that, in speaking about DOGE.
So this is Elise Slotkin, who gave the rebuttal after Trump's State of the Union address, or rather joint address to Congress. And she's talking about, in her speech was like, it's not about the cutting, it's the way you're cutting. And so these two women from CBS were like, okay, so you said you were thinking about doing some cuts. What? Because that is a question that no Democrat can answer, honestly. So what would you like to cut? Pretty simple. Listen how she fumbles this.
And how it has gone about it. So I guess the question is, what is the alternative? If you do want to cut, how would you go about it? Where are those cuts? Yeah. Well, first of all, I think, any department or agency, I used to work at the Pentagon, I used to work at the CIA, anyone who works there knows that there's, programs and things that probably were important 20 years ago, 40 years ago, that maybe don't need to continue. Their legacy issues, but for national security agencies, for people who protect our clean water or do the testing, on our water, just take a beat and say, what are the missions that we can cut that don't make sense anymore? And what are the missions that keep Americans safe every day? And I think that's the difference between responsible and reckless. And then on top of that, I do not like this idea of a bunch of people using AI software to come into these departments and agencies, take your data, put it on a private server, your tax data, your medical data, and then do God knows what with it. I think the privacy issue there for a bunch of 20-year-olds from DOGE, Democrat, Republican, I don't think most people like that. So again, it's not that fat shouldn't be cut. It's cut the stuff that is truly fat and doesn't make us less safe.
Do you have an idea what it is? That was a minute and a half of absolutely nothing. And then the part that she did say, there's been stuff here, it's been 30, 40 years. Whoa. Why hasn't that been cut? If it's old and decrepit and no longer useful, why has that been cut? Hasn't been cut. They don't have an answer. There is literally no answer. She went from talking about, what things are old and antiquated and we need to get rid of them to, the Social Security numbers, they got your private data. And I've said the answer to that response many a time, which I would have said if I was the person interviewing her. And that answer is pretty simple. Prior to Elon and Big Balls and those guys on DOGE looking at the data, who had access to the Social Security numbers before him? Oh, you unplugged your mic and ran. I'm out of here. I'm just asking a simple question. If it's so bad, who had access before him? Oh, Wally the Nigerian. Oh, you had other people leaking tax returns. That's a straw man argument. The Democrats, the answer to that question is they don't want to cut anything. Because if they wanted to, it would already be cut. I guess you could say that about the Republicans as well. If they wanted to cut things, why aren't they cut? Before I go, I did want to show you guys something. SB, thank you very much for sending this over. Many people have questioned what Pam Bondi was doing. I myself didn't understand what was taking so long until I heard Donald Trump speak. And then when I heard Donald Trump speak, and he said, I don't know if he had planned on saying it, but he said he's given Pam Bondi priorities. And priorities, they brought back the guy from Afghanistan who blew up the soldiers. She was on the plane, so she was obviously busy. And yesterday they arrested, a couple guys that were treasonous. And Lee Zeldin is taking them information about the grift that's been going on. And so yesterday I even said it. It seems as though Epstein's down here because Trump's priorities are up here. We got to go down the list. Well, it seems they're working through these priorities. This happened at, let's see here, 3:45, so just a little while ago, about an hour ago. Breaking, the Department of Justice just put 3 federal prosecutors in New York on leave. This includes one who prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeff's manager. So what you're seeing behind the scenes is she's working, and they're working, through a labyrinth of stuff that Trump wants them to take care of. And if you're seeing something like this, if you're seeing this happen today, which is something that she may not have reported, but may have gotten out anyways, about these federal prosecutors being taken out, placed on leave prior to even being fired, that tells me there was something in the files or with the whistleblower or something that now they're looking into the prosecution. Before they get to the list, now it's like, okay, oh, he shouldn't have done that. Oh, she shouldn't have done that. oh, they did this wrong. So there's something happening. There's obviously some digging going on. So I think we just need to sit back. It's getting crazy. It's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazier as we move forward. So yeah, I have no lack of confidence in Bondi. No, that's like a double negative. So you have confidence there. Cash has arrested 3 military types. That was yesterday. But remember, Barry, what you said, the Dems are running for the hills. The Dems are doomed. They have nothing. Evil is what they have. Everything must be looked at. Got to do it. You have to realize at this point, there are so many of these judges who would be happy to kick something out if it didn't sit well. You've seen that already. So at this point, you've got to be really methodical and it's like, okay, here, because we're talking about extremely powerful people who can afford the best attorneys money can buy. So whether it's the grift, whether it's the kids, all this stuff, it's probably just one big Jenga board. It's all intertwined. And you and me out here are trying to make sense of it all. And our government, right now, you can see, is in complete disarray. Complete disarray. It's almost like they have nothing that they can say at this point. It's kind of scary when you think about it. It's gotten to the point where they don't have anything they can talk about, so everything they do talk about is just junk, just complete trash. And because of that, it's concerning. I'll admit it's concerning to me that there's so much of our government in trouble. And I don't even know if we got 4 years to fix all this stuff. Let's see here. Barry could use hook on phonics. Ooh. Oh. Oh. Sometimes people crack me up. If Stacey Abrams gets away with this, I lose respect for Cash and Bondi. There's nothing I can tell you. Who knows what's going to happen? Let's see here. Hello, everyone. I'm finally here. Hey, Linda. You might want to go ahead and rewind. Nice that you're here. Barry, you can't imagine how many people on Facebook are posting how much they want Trump unalive. Oh, I can imagine. I see a bunch of it on X. When I tell you, and what you can see, that so many of these people are never, ever returning to normal, you're actually seeing it. You're actually seeing it in live on Facebook and on everything else, that there's no way they're returning to normal. Let me play something for you. I wanted to show this to you. Let me see if I have it, because it's probably indicative of what many people, yeah, here we go, what many Democrats are having to deal with at this point. Because you can't have faith in people like this, and if you don't see through this crap, then all it does is make it worse, and you just get gaslit even more than you are. So I want you to take a listen to this. Ready? This is Hakeem Jeffries.
We have the Republicans on the run on 3 core issues. They are on the run in terms of the economy. In fact, Donald Trump and Republicans are crashing the economy in real time. Donald Trump gave one of the most divisive speeches by a president in American history. 100 minutes. And he...
I mean, I don't know, maybe that's how his brain works or something, but you have the Republicans on the run? So if you're saying you have the Republicans on the run, you're actually saying you're chasing the Republicans. Who is chasing the Republicans? Who do you have that's doing anything for the Democrat Party? Or, as you say, who is chasing the Republicans?
barely spend any time on the economy. Why? Because it's collapsing on his watch. They made promises with respect to lowering costs. Costs aren't going down. They're going up. Inflation is going up. You know what's coming down? Donald Trump's poll numbers.
Think about it. The gaslighting is epic. And how much of a fool do you have to be to sit there and all you got to do is like drive to your local gas station? Or maybe even just think to yourself, hey, Akeem, he's been in office for 45 days. How long you been in office, bro? You're trying to say that the Biden and all the crap that he did, killing 100 million chickens, has nothing to do with, the prices of eggs. Well, you know what? If you don't buy eggs, other stuff isn't that expensive. I'm just saying.
Because he is mismanaging the economy, and the American people are feeling it. And we're just at the 45-day mark. We have them on the run in terms of health care, particularly as it relates to Medicaid. House Democrats stand on the side of Medicaid and the American people. Republicans are trying to enact the largest cut to Medicaid in American history.
He should have like a buzzer, like an electric buzzer tied to his gonads so that every time he lies, he goes, oh, whoa, hey, sorry about that. Oh, sorry about that. They just lie. I mean, this party would not exist if not for poor people. I cannot believe you put your entire political future, your entire party is based on keeping people poor. There's nothing you guys have for anybody other than, and I'm not talking about you guys on a fixed income or disability. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about keeping the poor people in the hood poor and telling them lies that you're going to lose this, you're going to lose that. Because that's the thing that scares people the most. The thing that people completely freak out about is, am I not going to get my Medicaid? I'm not going to get my health care. Man, oh man, oh man. Absolutely stunning.
And we need to keep the pressure on them legislatively and in communities all across the country. And partnering with you, we will be able to continue to do that. And we have them on the run with respect to the GOP tax scam.
No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. I'm pretty sure most people in the country are like, yes, sign me up. And then the rest of us are waiting for the big one when he says, I'm going to abolish the IRS. So who would be against that? How is that a tax scam? If we want to pay less in taxes, how is that a tax scam? Let's listen to how Timu Obama explains this one.
Well, they want to cut Medicaid, cut nutritional assistance for children and families, cut veterans' benefits, and potentially cut Social Security benefits by trying to decimate the Social Security Administration.
You see, you have to be cognizant at this point and realize without poor people, the Democrat Party doesn't exist. Without keeping you dependent upon, because everything he just said, he was talking about there being bad health care. How's your health care? I know we got to pay way too much because, you know what, we're covering for Democrat people. But some reason you don't address anybody other than what is becoming that 20%. You're talking in this cave over here to the people who ain't got nothing, and you think that's going to carry America because you want more people to be poor. What happens to the Democrats as people begin to prosper? It's funny, even in our chat here, and I see people who are, I don't really, care for crypto, and I see other people like, I'm jumping all in it, and I see people on X, people that you wouldn't think of it, are jumping into crypto. Why? Because they want to do something. People intrinsically want to do better. And all the Democrats want to do is keep you in place or push you further behind. Why do the Democrats not advocate for crypto? Or gold, or anything to help you improve your situation. When's the last time you've ever heard a Democrat talk about different things that'll help you get off of Medicaid? Oh, shocking. Shocking. You mean increasing your income so you're not a ward of the state. When's the last time they've talked about that? Never heard it. Never heard them say, you know what, here's what we're going to do. We're going to show you how to do this. Here's some vocational programs. We're going to show you how to be a mechanic. We're going to show you how to be an air conditioning repair person. We're going to show you different things that are high-paying jobs where you can earn a lot of money, and we're going to teach you for free. Imagine teaching somebody how to fix air conditioning in the south of Florida. Yeah, my stuff's not working. Can you get over here? That's going to be like a $300 service call. I didn't ask you that. That's hot. Come fix my AC. Ask anybody who lives in South Florida, and they will tell you in July and August, if something happens to your AC, I don't care what it costs. Send the guy over as soon as possible. It's going to be like a couple hours. He's busy. And you could teach people how to be air conditioning repair people in South Florida, and I'm telling you, they would never have a problem with income, and they would never need you people ever again. But they don't do that. Never. Never. No vocational things do they teach these people. How many people you know, and this is the easiest one, how many people you know would love to be social influencers, as they call it? They're all on TikTok, they're all doing this different thing. Some of them are making a lot of money. Have you ever heard a Democrat say, you know what, I'm going to host an incubator, and I'm going to show people how to edit videos, how to film videos, what kind of equipment you need, and that you can, be self-sufficient, and you might make some money. I'm going to show you how to approach sponsors. Nope, never heard a Democrat say that. Never. Hey, okay, people are importing and they're buying these cyber trucks and all this kind of stuff. We're going to put you in a program to learn, so you can learn. You know how they're pushing the EVs? Have you ever heard the Democrats say we're going to have a remedial program to teach you how to fix EVs? The thing you were pushing the most, when they break down, they need people to fix them. Nope, never told anybody that. Why? These are questions you should ask Democrats. Why are you not teaching people how to improve their lives, especially if they're young? It's harder when people are old and they've got responsibilities, obligations, and they're set in their ways. You're telling me there's not some 19 or 20-year-old kids out there that you can say, hey, listen, here's a better way. And you can set yourself up now, and guess what? Maybe in 2 years, you can buy a truck and start your own air conditioning repair service. Nope, never heard it. Never. We have a pool service. We have a lawn guy. You can start that doing very simple. And they get paid well because everybody in South Florida has a pool. So, hey, Hakeem, have you ever, and that's something relatively simple you could teach somebody. Hey, would you like to show somebody how to clean pools and how to mix the chemicals and how to get people on their route? How many pools would you have to clean to put you in a different income category? Well, if you're zero and you're getting food stamps and Medicaid, pretty sure it wouldn't take many pools for you to clean that take you about 20 minutes a day per pool. And all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm making $5-6 grand a month. I'm no longer dependent upon you. But you never hear them say that. Never. You never hear a Democrat say the most simple of jobs, hey, can I show you how to be an Uber driver? You have a license. I know you have a license. Let me show you how you can be an Uber driver and make some money. You know what? I and Robin, we hardly go to the grocery store anymore. We just click online and order via something called Instacart, where you can basically pick up the items that you want and they'll bring them to you. Would you like somebody to show somebody how you can be an Instacart driver? Nope, never hear that from the Democrats. Never. If you're in business and you own your own business, how many times have you had to send documents, down the street that actually had to be physical documents and had to be signed? Well, there's a company called Roadie. Roadie.com. Look it up. Anywhere you are right now, you could look at Roadie.com and you can sign up to be a driver. And then all of a sudden, when people at John's law office need to send something to Jill's real estate office, they go ahead and they tell you a package is ready, and you go in, you pick up the package, and you deliver it. Ever hear a Democrat say anything about how you can be a courier? No. I could literally go on for about 30 minutes, just in you could think yourself about different people who are in the gig economy. Gig economy, if you don't know what that is, you can go ahead and Google that. Never hear a Democrat talk about it. You see, the entirety of their existence is dependent upon people who are poor, who are ignorant, who lack motivation. And I'm not talking about the affirmed, and I'm not talking about people who are legitimately disabled. I'm talking about the people that they just want to skirt through life. And there's a whole bunch of them. And so when you talk about the programs that they're on, and they're not looking to cut Medicaid, they're looking to cut Medicaid fraud. If you can get up and walk around and you're able-bodied, get your butt to work. That terrifies the Democrats. What do you mean? You might tell, Leroy and his boys, you got to go to work. You're not just going to sit home and make babies. Nope, ain't going to happen. Because they don't want prosperity. It's very simple when you look at it from a 30,000-foot view. These people are horrible. They're horrible for the people they represent.
Have to continue to call them out on their extremism. We will do that. And all of that is being done in service of trying to pass massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors like Elon Musk and wealthy corporations. So we have them on the run, and we're going to keep our foot on the gas pedal. We've been joined by some tremendous...
Like I said, this guy went from $46,000 in debt to be at about $36 million net worth. Hasn't worked a day. Maybe, Hakeem, you can tell people how to be a corrupt politician. I'm sure people would line up. But as long as you just keep pitching to the poor people, that's where the Democrats are. There's nothing about prosperity ever spoken to people. And to me, it bothers me, and why I talk about it so much is I'm a black man. I saw what happened in the black community. I've told you many times, I could go back to Connecticut and I could tell you right now where the ghetto is. I could drive you there if I got off a plane. And it's been that way for 40 and 50 years. Why? Generational handcuffs. You keep telling them the same stuff. You'll take care of them. The Republicans are bad. The only people who want tax breaks are billionaires. That's it. Notice he didn't say millionaires anymore because these guys are millionaires. So they have to up it. No, the billionaire donors. You can't say millionaire and billionaires because you're a millionaire. It's evil. And until many of us begin to let people know there is a way out, they're going to continue siphoning off of the souls of poor people. That's all I got to say about it. The left also wants to tax crypto like crazy. How do you tax unrealized gains? Yeah, you heard Kamala say that. We want to go ahead and tax unrealized capital gains. What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't even have it yet. You want to tax it? Crazy. Yeah, extremism. To want to keep the money that you make is extreme. That's how they look at you. And now they're having a problem because we are the ones who have them on the run. Because we can tell more people, what I just said. Do you want to keep living your life like this, having to get a check 1st and 15th of the month? Unless, of course, that check is from YouTube or TikTok, which is a lot different than a government check. I'm just telling you. I'm rich in love for my wife. So am I. So am I. All right, everybody. This is a great song. Probably the Silhouettes. Get a job. Yeah, get a job. Quit complaining. Quit crying. I don't know what movie that's from. I forget. Steven Seagal movie. Quit your crying. Everyone want to go heaven. No one want to die. Guy, who's this? Screwface. Everyone want to go heaven. No one want to die. I thought that was the funniest comment in that movie. All us extremists know what a woman is. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, that's extreme. That's really extreme. Yeah, that's a whole other avenue for us to go down. Man, it's crazy. Let's see here. They scared. Yeah, they're scared. Democrats have been using the same old playbook for 50 years. It's worked. I'll give them that. And they didn't expect social media, and they didn't expect anything else. So, all right. So let me read some super chats and get out of here. Gonna go out to dinner with the wife, hang out, have some fun. Let me look at some super chats if there's any in here. Do you own crypto? 75% say no. Wow. Like I said, not gonna point at people for not owning crypto. Never gonna do it. To each his own there. But if you do want to, maybe perhaps it would be a good time to begin educating yourself. All right, so let's go here. All right, born on the 4th. My son was an education major to teach high school math and physics, but quickly changed his mind. While student teaching, he saw issues with the BOA, administrators, elimination of phonics, and No Child Left Behind, adding to the dumbing down. Yep, Ashley was a teacher. Jimbo, thank you very much. Daylight, thank you very much. From Europe, thank you very much. Larry1754 just sent you an email. Better video showing how to use flipper tab on the Trump knife. Flipper tab. Try to get the knife. It's not a switchblade, but it's a flipper. Got it. What will happen in super liberal states when education is sent back to the states? They will have full lib reign on our kids' education. Well, if the money is sent to the states, and notice what Congressman Kiley said, not to the states, down to the school board level. So now what that means is you're going to have to take a big interest in who's working at your school boards. Just don't take those elections for granted. Demon of Cybertron, you're gonna see those Pakistan hotels in New York kick migrants out so quickly before the World Cup. Exactly. Oh my goodness, is the World Cup actually being played in New York? If yeah, they're gone. They're definitely gone. Especially if they're not getting any money from Trump. Cutting Edge, the app of Coinbase in Play Store or App Store is the most easy to invest on crypto. I have my XRP, Hedera, and Ethereum there as well. Thank you. Karen C4, I'm old. I need crypto for dummies. To me, it's like buying play money. Crypto for dummies. Yeah, you know what? Everybody can afford $10. Put $10 in a simple account and just play. And if you do that, you say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to play with this $10, and I know I could potentially lose it. It could be gone. And then just take your time and learn around. You know, it's pretty easy. Dave B, is there any setups to donate to your newest member, Secret Service member? I'm not sure what you mean. You might have to email on that. Jason Thomas, I trust Trump. I don't trust our systems. Okay. Jen V, can Ashley bring on Carl DeMayo of Reform California, representing California's 75th district? He is a firecracker fighting for us and knows it all. Yeah, love to hear it. Love to hear him. Christopher McIntyre. Ashley, I hope you heard that. Thank you. Ken1362. Will Jeffries get away with threatening a House member because she wants to be removed from the commitments they aren't on because of their actions in the well of the House? They're desperate. That's for sure. Mountain Goddess, I seriously believe Pam Bondi and Trump knew the FBI was going to withhold information so the masses can see it in real time. Possibly. Because they know how bad it is. Chapo, the same people who told us the economy was doing great under Biden, are now telling us 45 days later that the economy is not doing great under Trump. 45 days later. Yeah. T. Savage, I suffer from DITS, otherwise known as Democrat-induced Tourette's syndrome, so playing Hakeem is triggering to me. I've never seen anybody have public speaking like that. Patricia Kuhn, his hand gestures show how angry he is. Jay Castro, thank you. And the last one, hello McFly. Anybody in there? Crypto is currently down, and Donald Trump said the government is going to invest billions. Invest now. Again, I'm not going to give financial advice, but I just want to let you know you're absolutely right. Watch it. All right, guys, it's Friday, so we're taking Friday night off. But I will be dropping a cut from last night in case you guys didn't get a chance to see it. That's one of the things we're going to be doing more of, dropping cuts from previous videos. If you haven't seen them, then of course feel free to watch them. And if not, if you do, share them and tell other people. We'd love to have build our tent bigger as well. Let me just do one quick scan around here. I see that DJ, the boy with the cancer, is now going to get a Cybertruck from Elon. That's pretty awesome. Absolutely awesome. So with that, I am going to... before I didn't see this one. Just in, the Justice Department has opened an investigation into whether large corporations conspired to raise the price of eggs. Whoa. Whoa. We know they did. We know they did. These people were desperate to try and do anything to stop Trump. We know they did. That is going to be absolutely monstrously huge. We know what they did. This wasn't natural. It actually happened. All right, so wait a minute. SV sent me something else. I'm trying to get out of here. Trying, but SV and these guys keep showing me stuff. All right, here we go with this one. It's on these guys. Just in. People are saying just in and breaking. By the time I see them, is it still just in? Yeah, this was just 10 minutes ago. Just in, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr has just launched an inquiry into Google. Google owns YouTube. For possible discrimination against faith-based programming on YouTube. Good. Google has gotten away with the censorship for far too long. These concerning allegations come at a time when American public discourse has experienced an unprecedented and unacceptable surge in censorship. I'm going to tell you what. Okay? If Brendan Carr and the FCC can do what they need to do, yeah, Daddy might end up getting a new Cybertruck. I mean, like, take off the reins. Let me run. Stop with the censorship. You guys have no idea. No idea the battles I fight. But I keep doing it, and I just keep forcing my way into it. I mean, there was a point when I was getting 800, 900, 1 million views on videos. And they went, yeah, this guy talks too much. And he's talking about the wrong things. And let's just go ahead and throttle that down. Come on, Brendan. Bring it. Ooh, you don't even know. You don't even know. All right, everybody. Talk to you guys tomorrow afternoon, probably about 5. Rob and I are heading down to the beach. We're going to be doing some stuff to get ready for the kids coming into town in, what? Wow, 6 days, 5 days. We're psyched. All right, see you guys tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you.